Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing well? Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. Yeah. What do we got? Hey, hello. Yes, revolters. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Yeah, it's very hot here though, so I feel like I'm kind of feel like I'm kind of dressed like a bit of I'm kind of sluttily dressed, I guess you could say, 'cause it's so hot. But hey, it works. How's everyone doing? Let me see here. Right. Okay. Do we have a roll call before class starts? Yeah, hey, we could. We talk. Well, we kind of do actually. I see a lot of folks recognize here. John Gray, Death died today. Big Braden. Um, see here. Long Beach Dragon, of course, of course. Yes, thank you. Scantily clad. That is a much better way of framing it. Okay, I am rather scantily clad. Um, all right, bruh moment. Uh, okay. Oh, That's good advice, Alyssa. I will. I have barely seen any of it because I kind of want to do the reaction live. So yeah, I believe you. I'll try to speed it up a bit. Yeah, bruh moment. Good, yet a bit sad. I've been trying to get this emulator to work, but the render is god awful and frames fluctuate from 60 to 10. I'm so sorry. I used an I A couple of weeks ago. I was using an emulator to play Pokemon Black 2. But anyway, so I feel you. Okay, I feel you, bro. Moment. Where's everyone from? I think I know where most of you are from, but just in case anyone new here that I don't know where you're from, let me know. I'm curious to see. We have while you're doing that, we have a live chat goal. It's only five. That's okay. If we get to the five, any amount, I'll put on the jester hat, and then we'll set another one. Um, so uh, while while folks are putting in where they are, this is going to be a chill stream. I got to tell you, okay. uh i I just felt like it might be nice to kind of relax and chat and do things. We're gonna kind of Utah, okay, Long Beach, California, fantastic. We're gonna watch there was this town hall in Nebraska with Republican Representative Mike Flood. I know that sounds absolutely riveting, but it is, I think, riveting, and because this was from the person who gave me this recommendation was Alyssa. So thank you, Alyssa, for recommending uh, this video. It apparently kind of erupts into a chaotic mess, or it at least gets pretty loud because the audience is not too happy with Mr. Mike Flood, and so we will be enjoying watching that. Um, for a little bit, and we can just chat in the meantime. I mean, while we're watching it and such. And then after that, I don't really have anything in particular planned, so we can just see where the wind takes us. Okay. And we got here. Okay. Good, 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 good. What's that? We got. Yeah, I agree, Big Brain. I think it is Georgia. Real life cat DJ. I live in Georgia, country. But oh, okay. You live in Georgia. Um, I would love to get your insight on how things are going over there, especially with your neighbor over there, Russia, sitting right on the border, um, Abkhazia and such, all Ossetia, all that unpleasant stuff happening. But I've heard great things about actually visiting Georgia. Like if you go to Tbilisi, um, I know I may be pronouncing these things wrong, but yeah, I've heard people that are super friendly. They have some great sauna type things. A beautiful country, very ancient country. One of the very ancient sort of Christian tradition too, which is very interesting. Um, Okay, well, yeah, Utah. Hope y'all are enjoying the best export from my country to the U.S. Bassam Youssef. Yeah, gotta love Bassam Youssef. So, Yeah. Okay. Great, funny guy. Very funny. Okay. All right. It looks like that's all we got for people who would like to say where they're from. Okay, so we can begin then. Oh, okay. Yeah, I am hoping I won't have to partake of the I probably shouldn't save this on live stream. I don't care. It's not against any rules. I Depending on how this goes, I really hope I won't have to consume some of the devil's lettuce to get through it. And if you don't know what the devil's lettuce is, you can look it up because I have a feeling it's going to be kind of painful to listen to. Um, uh, yeah, yeah, I would love. Yeah, I know real life cat DJ. They definitely did roll back the LGBT rights. I would love to visit sometime. I will let you know if I do. I've really wanted to see Tbilisi, very old city, great place, I've heard from people who have been there. No, I would not do it during school hours. Don't worry. Um, uh, okay. At the time, I have to. So we're rewatching. Okay. We're not rewatching. We are watching the Nevada town hall that happened, I think, yesterday or the day before. Oh, I should know. I should have looked it up. Um, hey, I am in Ohio where it was recent. Big Braden, I'm in Ohio where it was recently legalized for recreational use on top of medical use, and then before that, I lived in Massachusetts where it had been recreational for many years. So it's something that has been kind of for me at least, it's odd to be places where it's not legal because I'm used to it being legal. But anyway, um, okay. I'm sorry, I said Nevada. You're right. Thank you. Nebraska. I keep saying Nevada. Nebraska. This was a town hall in Nebraska. So for those who were here a couple days ago, we kind of talked about. I always before I watch a politician, I always do this, and I'm just showing you what I do. We go to Open Secrets, that site I told you about. This is Mike Flood right here. He's the representative from Nebraska. Um, and so here we go. Here, let's look at who funded his campaign because I'm guessing while we're watching this person at his town hall, we might be able to hey, Macy, that is what we're here. That is what we're here to do is to resist. Long Beach Dragon actually on Discord, our Discord server, he came into the chat and said, "Hello, fellow revolters." And oof, that gave me a good feeling, right? I like that the sound of it. We're a community of revolters and resistors. Okay. Uh, let's take a look at who's donated to his campaign. And this will help us sort of parse out, I'm guessing, some of the things he's going to say, because in my experience, they are going to say things that are very pro whoever their donors are. So let's see who donated to his campaign. Overall, he raised 4 million. So for a for a rep, that's kind of normal. How much did APAC give? We'll find out. Let's see here. So his top industry that donated to him was insurance. Okay, that probably means, folks. Do we think he's going to be pro, like reforming the healthcare system? I'm guessing not. Real estate. So uh, yeah, you're right. It does kind of sound like we're going to be put on a watch list. But real estate, insurance, retired. Okay, well, retired's not so bad, I guess. Depending on the organizations, we have commercial banks. Oh, that's great. Sure, they have our best interests in mind, right? I know Big Braden knows that the banks have our interests in mind from what he said before. And securities and investment, which of course is Macy. Yeah, I let's put it this way. I will allow spoilers. Well, yeah. What do we think? Maybe no spoil. Maybe okay. You know what? No, I should say no spoilers. Okay. But I do. Yeah, but still make comments and stuff. I am curious to see what you have to say about it if you've seen it already. Okay. Um, so securities and investment. Remember what I told you? Those are investors. So that's basically Wall Street. All right. So the people who funded his campaign were insurance companies, and those are only the top industries that invested in him. Invested in him. We see his top individual contributors is Tenaska Energy, so a big energy company. Hawkins Construction. I don't know what some of these are, but Norfolk Iron and Metal. Okay, so we can kind of guess. We can kind of guess that he's going to be kind of pro these groups. So, without further ado, let's get started and God help us all, right? All right, let's see here. Um, I will make this bigger here. Congressman Fascia. Oh, no, that is not the exact one I want. Here we go. Nebraska Town Hall. Now, Nebraska, by the way, is a pretty small state. I mean, population-wise, let's see here. Let's find a good one. Okay, we'll use the Nebraska public media.
Broaden the tax base by
How does that sound, folks? Is it too loud? Not loud enough?
closing loopholes, the carried interest.
Back here to near the beginning. I think at the beginning there's a guy who comes out and just plays a song. Because why not? Sounds good. Okay. Abandon all hope, ye who enter. Okay. Great. Okay. So yeah, that's about right. Okay, first we'll obviously have some of this standard propaganda stuff. Okay, I know. I get all this standard. I should frame it differently. Public relations, got to have the patriotic music and such. This is about as far as I've seen. I saw a little bit more. And now we can get to the rest of it. All right. Can you hear me all over it, or should I reduce that volume?
Well, good evening, Lincoln. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I want to thank Bo and Tom and Jimmy. Jimmy's had a long career in the United States Air Force from the Bellevue area, and I've seen and heard him perform before. He's been at the Final Four. He's performed in Omaha.
Okay, real fast. I just wanted to quickly, I'm going to just lower the volume on the video a little bit. I want you all to be able to hear it, but I also want to be able to somewhat talk over certain parts of it. So let me just quickly, you're right. I'll just pause the talk. Okay, that is a good piece of advice. We'll do that. Okay, so let's continue now then. All right, so here we go. Let's hear what nonsense he has to say.
Over the place, and it's an honor to have him here tonight. And it's an honor to have each of you here tonight. I know that many of you stood in line for a long time. I know that many of you have made this a point to be here. And here's the deal. And I said this before in Columbus, and I said
Thank you, Shut.
And between Seward and Columbus, we've had well over 900 people come to these events. And tonight, my guess is we'll be at 750. I want to thank UNL.
How's that sound? I did turn it down a little bit. I turned down the video sound a little bit. I could reduce it more if necessary.
For allowing us to be in the Kimball Recital Hall. And the thing that I want to impress upon you is no matter if we agree.
All right, let me quickly fix this one again. You all know. You've all seen me struggling for a while now. Here we go. We'll go up to like there. Let's try that.
Or we disagree. The fact that you're here tells me that you care. You
How's
care
that?
about your state.
Oh, God, I'm already annoyed. Okay, I mean, with him, not with you, okay? The video is practically mute. Okay, fair. That's better. Okay. Good. Perfect. Okay, good. We'll keep it there. Maybe we don't want to hear him, though. Maybe we should just keep it low. Then we don't have to suffer. Okay, so here we go. This is the fluffing. Well, I shouldn't use that phrase. You can look up what that means, but don't. I mean, you can. He's just fluffing up the audience a bit. Okay, let's see what goes on.
You care about this city, and you care about this nation. And so I want to show you the respect, and I want to give you a short introduction to some of the things that I've been working on, and then I will take your questions. I will stay until 6:30 tonight. Actually, to be clear, 6:27. This is being broadcast, and we have a start cutoff at 6:27. So let's just get right into it. You know, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate being here with you. And I will also tell you, I hold myself to the standard of being accessible. I did a telephone town hall
I
last
doubt
week.
that.
I'm here tonight. If you have a question, every single person that calls into my office, I get a printout the next day. I read every single summary of every single call. It helps me do my job better. Sometimes I have the ability to call people back and say, hey, give me more information, or this looks like casework. Let's take care of you. Tonight, you're going to have that same opportunity. And if you do have something that requires the help of one of our staff members, Carter, can you wave your hand? He's around here. We've got Deb Shore, who's over here. She's the district director. We've got Monica's here. We'll get you directed over to them, and we'll take it from there, and we will follow up with you. I'm very pleased to say that every direct question that I've had from one of my town halls, I've been able to follow up directly and be able to.
On a side note here, folks, I know I'm pausing it here. So he's just talking about, hey, I am open to you. You can contact me. We'll get you information and such. That is actually a right that is enshrined in the First Amendment. You have a right to petition the government for a redress of grievances, which means you can basically complain to the government. I would actually, in my class, I would actually call the state senator or a state rep on the phone in front of my class, and we would write things down we'd want to say to them. So this is something you can do. Now, does it really have an effect? I don't know. But it is something you can do. So he kind of has to sort of take these things, but I don't know if he's actually reading them. I'm almost certainly not.
Solve whatever casework they had, or at least get them an answer. So with that, and I know this is probably going to be met with some resistance, I want the opportunity to tell you and talk to you about health care in the bill we just passed. I want to go right into this bill because I know this is something a lot of people have questions about. And quite frankly, from where I sit, there's been a lot of misinformation out there about the bill.
Okay. This actually might be entertaining. If we have an audience here that's going to be uh very this way, this might actually be this might be actually make us feel a little better. Yeah, so real fast though, yeah, that is kind of what we do, we do, big brain. Uh that how he always okay, keep in mind how he responds, says Alyssa, okay. They are hostile. I love it. Okay. Oh, I love it. Love the people in Nebraska. Um, yeah. Weirdly enough, someone mentioned here, Alan W. You say I've emailed Congress people before and just got back cookie cutter responses. 100%. That's what's happened to me a lot of the time when I've tried to communicate with Congress people. Weirdly enough, folks, there was one person I sent a letter to who actually responded with their own letter. And you're going to be shocked at who it was. It was Senator John McCain. I sent him a letter basically thanking him for pushing back a little bit against Trump and such. I'm not a fan of John McCain. And he actually responded, which was very shocking to me. But they're right. For most cases, they will not respond. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Oh, yeah. Josh Hawley would never answer back. That is true.
Okay, let's start here. The first thing, and for those watching tonight, and I know we have a television audience out there that's also wanting to hear answers to some of these questions. So in deference to them, please let me tell you why I voted the way I voted, and then we will take your questions, and you will have.
So I'm pretty sure he's talking about the so-called big beautiful bill that the Trump administration passed with support of Congress, which massively cut Medicaid and massively cut taxes for the wealthy. And then this whole bill was supposed to cut the deficit, and all it did was increase the deficit by trillions of dollars. And the biggest increase to the deficit from that bill was tax cuts for the wealthy. I believe it was I think it was about one to $2 trillion, which is hilarious to me. It's basically redistribution. You cut what the poorest Americans need, or the people on the bottom need, and you just give a bunch of tax cuts to the richest people in the country. It's not like wealthy inequality is already horrific, right? So I can see why there's so much rage. Let's see where it goes.
Have an opportunity to get answers. First thing, we have two separate programs. We've got Medicaid and we've got Medicare. There's a lot of people in this country that don't know the difference, and I'm not saying it for any reason, between Medicare and Medicaid. So let's review.
Okay, so all right, who here can sense that condescension in his voice? I mean, he sounds like a teachers I know, but in that case, you're talking to children, right? I know people don't understand the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. So let's review. I mean, it's a room full of adults. Uh, uh yeah. Okay. Um, all right. Let's continue.
Medicare, with Medicare, it's
Medicare.
available to people over the age of 65 for their health care, regardless of their income. This is a promise and a contract between you as an American and your country, and we did not make changes to the Medicare program. So if you're watching this, and let's say you're 78 years old and you hear Medicare, you need to know
Absolutely, Alice.
you
Absolutely.
will not see any changes. And the reason I think this is important,
Oh,
and this is because I know there are questions about Medicaid, and we're
yep.
going to get to those.
Absolutely. John Gray
But there
definitely
are a lot
lying
of
through his
very good
teeth.
people of advanced age that hear some of the rhetoric about the bill, whether it's true or not, and they think it's going to take their health care, and they're 78 years old, they're on Medicare, and if you're watching tonight and you get Medicare, you do not have to worry about changes to your program. Okay?
By the way, so let's say in theory that the bill doesn't cut Medicare, okay? Uh, so which that's probably true. I don't think it really does cut Medicare. It definitely cuts Medicaid. That being said, putting the country deeper in the debt does not bode well for Medicare, okay? So those tax cuts for the rich, not great. Might end up hurting Medicare. All right.
So let's go to the next slide. Here's the other thing that you have to know, and I cannot take credit for this. Your governor, Jim Pillen, and your legislature, your governor and your legislature,
Oh, this
I
is
think you're
fun.
going to like what I'm about to say. They passed a bill to get Nebraska's hospitals $700 million in Medicaid funding in the coming fiscal year. As your congressman, I worked to help get the CMS application approved.
By the way, so here's the thing. So that his comment about the uh, we got funding for the rural or for hospitals or whatever. So if you have Medicaid and you go to a hospital, the government then pays the hospital, pays the providers, et cetera. So if you cut Medicaid, what actually will happen is that a lot of those people that would be going to the hospital won't be going to the hospital, and a lot of especially rural hospitals rely on that business. So a lot of rural places will have to shut down some of their hospitals because there won't be as many people on Medicaid to go to the hospital to pay the hospital. Okay, so that's just not true what he's saying. Yeah. Let me just look at some of these chats here. 20-year-olds not what? Oh, Macy. Oh, does he actually say that? That is hilarious. Okay. Oh, I'm excited for that moment. Well, excited is an interesting word for it. Yeah, you're right, John Gray. That's simply not true. The work requirements required thereafter will make so many lose their. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, make people lose their health insurance and make people die. Quite literally, there was a study done. I think it was said it was going to kill what, like 20,000 people or something like that. Um, I'd love to be a town hall like this in the audience. Yeah, okay. Seniors know they're too cut. Yeah, let's say seniors know are too rich. Yeah, okay. He says he can't take any credit for it, then immediately switches to as your congressman. Yeah, I know. Because they know this would hurt rural. You're absolutely right, LSA. Yeah. Um, Big Braden, sadly, that's the point. Look who is the secretary of, oh, geez, don't even get me started on the secretary of education. Does that person even have a department to run anymore? Well, I think they think they cut it completely, but yeah. Um, is there a state of is there the start of yeah, bruh moment. You're actually right. I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, there will be rural hospitals closing, which means if you'll need to get care, you'll need to go to a nearby big city, which might require driving several hours. Yeah. Um, And by the way, rural communities are not doing well in this country. You can understand why there's a lot of rage in those areas. And we've talked about in the last few streams how sort of it's radicalizing if you can't meet your economic needs and stuff. So that's partially why so many rural communities supported Trump, because they viewed him as someone who was going to change the system. Yeah, so it's just it makes things worse there. Without those without health insurance just increases our medical bills to fund the healthcare system. Yep. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, those without health insurance just increases our medical bills to fund the healthcare system. Medicare helps keeps everyone's healthcare bill low. Yeah, you're right. Um, yeah, you're right, and that's the issue, right? So you say that, Leia, you say that those without health insurance just increases our medical bills. Yeah, and if you have a universal system where everyone pays into it, a lot of those costs are offset, and on top of that, there's no longer a profit motive because the profit motive adds a lot more cost to the system because all the companies will be charging more than what they're providing is worth so that they can collect a profit from it. So if you remove that profit motive, costs go down. Um, anyway, it's yeah. If you okay, real life cat DJ, know what the BBB is going to look like after when we literally look at Australia. I had a friend who had to drive for 4 hours. Yeah, yeah, that's terrible. All right, let's continue. Let's go on with the nonsense.
By CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare, and it was approved in June before the big beautiful bill was passed. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that St. Elizabeth's is going to get an additional $24 million next year, and that money is not tied to fees for service. It means the Norfolk Hospital is going to get $10 million. It means that the West Point Hospital is going to get $3.5 million. So when you talk about
By the way, $3.5 million is pocket change for a hospital. So he's like, "Oh, they're going to get $3.5 million." Uh, yeah. Do you know how much it costs to pay doctors and nurses and things like that? So, and if you're cutting the Medicaid, then there's not going to be as much income there. All right. Shut. You're absolutely correct. Don't forget to support your local communities. Get on local boards like a township board or start one. Some of the most important work you can do is local work. Agreed. Um, yeah, you're right. Shut. Okay, I love that. Yeah, $3.5 million is like one visit to the hospital. Yeah, that's true. I mean, okay, obviously I know it's an exaggeration, but yeah, your point is perfect. Okay, yeah. All right, let's go.
Medicaid, I can tell you, we're going to see an influx of money into Nebraska hospitals. The other thing I want to share is that there was talk about a medical clinic in Curtis closing. First of all, it was not a hospital. Second of all, it had 4 patients a day. And third of all, the bill had not even been signed yet, and any changes don't apply until 2027.
Oh. I love that. Oh, I just love that he brought that up, that the changes don't apply until 2027. So a lot of the things that the Republican Congress have passed actually don't kick in until a few years later, uh, at the end of the Trump administration. And the whole point here is that it will not, once those changes kick in and people get angry, they won't be in office anymore. Yeah, it's a very dark tactic. Yeah, after the midterms, so they don't have to worry about it. Uh, yeah, that's very dark. It shows you how much love they have for the country, right? That they're willing to do that just for their own election purposes. Um, all right, let's go on.
The other thing that the big beautiful bill did, the only way we're going to get through tonight is if I get a chance to tell you why I voted, because ultimately I represent you, and you will have your say. Okay. The other thing that we worked on very hard, and something that I personally invested a lot of time into, was making sure we could get a $50 billion fund, for for rural hospitals. $50 billion. Places like Scotts Bluff and David City and
I don't know if that's true. I'm not. There was a lot of pork in that bill, which means that in order, a lot of times politicians will negotiate things in a bill to be given specifically to their state, so that they can be convinced to vote for it. It's very possible he got some pork in there. I don't know though. But yeah, I saw some brilliant comments. Let's see here. You will have your say. No, we won't. Correct, resident union thug. Um, let's see here. What else we got? I saw something else funny. I can't let me find it. Kick. Okay. Maybe Doge has a point. I mean, how else? Real life cat DJ. Okay. Maybe Doge has a point. I mean, how else will the poor oil companies keep the Middle Eastern oil down to extract more profit? Yeah. By the way, folks, we literally subsidize oil companies. We send billions of dollars just for free from our tax dollars to oil companies every year to subsidize them to keep the costs low and such. Of course, you can imagine, I'm sure they cut that funding then, some of the most profitable companies in the world. I'm sure you need to give money to those companies, right? So I'm sure Doge went after them, right? No. Um, uh, and remember who donated to these people. Okay, oil companies. There was a Japanese internment camp in Nebraska. Trump's and heritage is not even original. It's World War II Part 2. Yeah. Oh God, don't I'm gonna have nightmares. Yeah. What's the point of these town halls if they're just gonna blow smoke the whole time? Very good question. Um, that to be honest, that is an issue. I don't really know how to answer that. It's basically a PR move, right? Um, they I will say a lot of politicians will get blowback if they're not appearing at least to interact with their constituents. But you're right. In the end, actions speak louder than words. I know I keep repeating this. So yeah, he can say all this. He can just spout nonsense. He can pretend like he cares, but what he does is what really matters. Okay. But I will say I am deeply appreciating the audience response so far. Okay, that is a very good sign. Let's go on.
Falls City and Pawnee City. I am planning to bring CMS officials to Lincoln, to Nebraska, so that our Nebraska
Ooh,
hospitals can.
am I hearing someone chant "Free Palestine" in the background? I believe that's what I'm hearing. Good for them. Very brave. Support it. Totally agree. Okay. We cannot forget what's happening at the moment. After studying genocide and stuff for many years. Yeah. Okay. Very brave.
Tell them about some of the challenges that we do have. The next slide talks about the two big changes. The next slide talks about two big changes.
Well, sorry, I know I keep stopping it, but folks, look really close. I noticed his brow. He's starting to sweat a little bit. Okay. Why does that bring me so much pleasure to see him in distress? Anyway, okay.
To the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care.
Ooh. Okay, folks, we got to talk about that. The idea if you don't work, you don't get health care. I'm sorry. Healthcare should be a human right. I don't give a. I almost cursed there. I don't give a shit, really. Well, I did almost use a different word. Yeah, you're right. It's not free. Okay. So, all the other wealthy industrialized countries have universal health care. All of them, even if you're unemployed, you still get that health care. I just think about that, folks. Like, you can't help if you're sick. You can't help if you develop cancer. You can't help. You can't help. You can't help. We, it is inhumane. It is morally it's morally backwards. It's inhumane. A lot of people in Europe actually kind of view us as barbarians, like barbaric. And I know that's kind of a loaded term, but like, what do you mean you let if someone's not working, you'd think they shouldn't get health care? And by the way, if you're not working and you don't have health care, what if you get sick, and then you can't afford health care, which makes it very hard to work? I mean, It's crazy. On a side note too, one of the sort of, indirect, effects of having healthcare that goes through the place you work is that it is almost a mechanism of control because it's going to be much harder to leave a job where you feel like you're being mistreated or you feel like you're not liking it or it's causing you distress if you know you're going to lose your health care. And so there's also an issue here of it kind of gives employers much more control over their employees and makes them less free actors. um, so it's just it's enraging. Okay, let's go on.
Okay, okay. So here's a question. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care? I
Democracy, I
don't think
love
that
it.
a majority of Nebraskans agree with you. The other thing that I think is important to remember is that any changes we make to the Medicaid program does not involve anybody that's disabled, that is of senior age and unable
So here's the problem with that. Okay, you know what? I'll let him finish what he's saying. I'll get
to
back to
work,
that.
anybody that is pregnant, or the vulnerable. Those are important things to know.
Okay, so first of all, you're automatically vulnerable if you're unemployed. So it's these are kind of legal definitions. So if you're disabled, well, do you know how hard it is to be viewed as disabled by the government? And they've made it even harder in this last bill. So he goes, well, yeah, you're still going to get it if you're disabled, but it's almost impossible, by the way, to be rated as disabled because we've made it very hard for that to happen. The idea that women who are pregnant can still get health care, that might be true. However, they did remove any provisions for, birth control. Well, maybe not birth control. I would have to look that up, but, like, you can't get there's a lot of, maternal care or care for women who are pregnant or want to, terminate an abortion, for example, that they removed from the bill. So I mean, it's okay. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's not true. Let's go. Hey, good to see you, London.
The other thing in the bill that I think you need to know is if we didn't pass the big beautiful bill, it would have been a $1,600 tax increase to every Nebraska family.
If that's the case, then why don't you just raise taxes on the rich? I don't think that is the case. Or why don't you change the system so that the taxes wouldn't go up on the Nebraskans? There's plenty of money. We are, by the way, folks, I know I've said this. It's a point that I think a lot of people forget. We are one of the, if not the wealthiest country in human history. There is plenty of money to go, or there's plenty of wealth to go around. It is insane that a small portion of the population has such a massive concentration of wealth, and then we punish everyone else who don't have that money. So why not just increase the taxes on the rich so that the poorest Americans don't have to have their taxes raised? It it beggars imagination, right? Um, yeah, you're right, Alan. Alan, thank you. Yes, the wealthiest country in the world with the highest poverty rate. Yeah. And folks, this is not an exaggeration. And I'm not talking bad about third world countries. They've been colonized, they've been mistreated. But it's like some of our stats about our country are similar to the third world, like maternal death rates when women give birth. The death rates for women is massively high, especially if you're not a white woman. I mean, it's comparable to some third world countries. It's backwards, and we are the wealthiest country in human history. I know I keep emphasizing that. So because that money isn't for us, right? Oh yes, you're right, Big Braden. You could always cut the military spending too, by the way, which also. Because we basically buy weapons from weapons manufacturers, they have a profit motive. And so they make the cost of the weapons our government buys from them is greatly inflated so that they can make a profit. So, anyway, um, yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Akiran Deep Car. Uh, f- uh, f- I Thank you. Okay, that's the largest super chat I've ever had. I deeply appreciate you. Um, I are those oh, oh gosh, what's the currency in India? I'm sorry, rupees. Thank you. I think that's what that symbol means. Thank you very much, really. Though yeah, okay. Let's see what else we got here. Much love, by the way, back to India. If you're still in here, Kieran Deepkar, I am curious what your thoughts on Modi are. I asked that of a lot of Indian folks who come into my chat because I know we're seeing some things similar with Modi as we are with Trump. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Yeah, let me just go through some of these chats now that I've paused here. A hospital, okay, Leia Lay. I'm sorry if I've missed some of your chats, folks. Alan W. The rich will be fine making 900. Oh, Alan Lay, you do not, or Alan. I'm sorry, Alan W. You do not need to convince me. Yes, the rich would be fine making 900 million, as opposed to 1 billion. I, for one, think it should be illegal for people to make $1 billion. It doesn't make sense to me. And if anyone's interested, there's a fantastic book called On Capital, or Capital in the 21st Century. Am I getting this mixed up? I think I'm getting this mixed up. By Thomas Piketty. If you look up the name Thomas Piketty, you'll see it. And he talks about how it's sort of a natural thing in capitalism, how over time wealth inequality skyrockets, and you need some way to rebalance that, whether it be higher taxes on the rich, other things like that. It'll just keep getting worse. So Um, let me see what else here. A hospital will not turn an individual away. Yeah, you're right. So now we have people getting healthcare that can't pay for it. Correct. Correct. And by the way, there are companies like Walmart who will hire people, and this might not be true anymore. This was at least a few years ago. I doubt they've really raised their wages much, but they would actually pay people wages that were extremely low, and then they would at the same time tell them how to get on Medicaid, tell them how to get social security or on other payments, okay? Because they want our tax dollars to subsidize the low pay that they're giving their workers. They know they're paying enough, they're not paying enough for people to survive, so they use our tax dollars to subsidize their low wages. Let's see here. They should all get health care. Yes. Well, too bad. Yes, Big Braid, and that's basically it. Coworker with pregnant wife, Macy again. Coworker with pregnant wife is now uninsured from Medicaid because he worked too much and made too. Yeah, yeah. They have to wait 45 days to hear back a yes or no since they had to reply. Yeah, yeah. Um, Terrible. Real life cat DJ, I don't think the majority of Nebraskans agree with you. I know. Right? Oh, okay. But okay, Mary Schroeder, but if you tell your job you need certain hours, you could be unemployed. Yeah. Yep. London, I wish the general public was more like this. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you should always push for better policies. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, we need to be laser focused on policies, not words, not performance. Um, and a lot of people just don't know much about policy. There is an education issue in the country. And with all, especially a lot of right wing media and stuff spouting nonsense a lot of the time, it's sort of hard to get informed. He doesn't catch a break. Yes, I would say I'm loving Nebraska. I think I'm gonna go. I don't know if I've been there. I don't think I've been there. I'm gonna go. I kind of want to go now. Okay, I'm surprised that none of them have gotten kicked out yet. Right? I'm surprised the guy who was yelling about Palestine wasn't kicked out. Our taxes are still going up. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep. Mary Schroeder. Hey, the wealthiest. Alan, the wealthiest country in the world with the highest poverty rate. Yes. Okay. All right, folks. I know we've gotten a few here. Everything is so crooked. I know. I know. Walmart was subsidized using loopholes. Yep, that is correct. My dad always laughs, Big Braden. My dad always laughs when I say the rich, uh, I say tax the rich because he's like politicians won't do that, and like it doesn't mean it's not a solution, just not one they care. Yeah, we. That's the question we need to ask, right? If you ask American, remember how I say how it's we call ourselves a democracy, and the majority of Americans support higher taxes on the wealthy. So wouldn't it raise a question if the politicians aren't doing that? And we've become so used to it. Um, Kieran Deepkar, once again. Thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, Modi is an authoritarian. For those who don't know, Modi in India is he's a Hindu nationalist. Now, by the way, I don't want to say not all Hindus obviously believe what he believes, obviously, okay, but he's very discriminatory against Muslims, other groups in India. Yeah, he enables some pretty awful behavior amongst the farthest right of like Hindu nationalists and things like that. Um, keep up the hope over there, Kieran Deepkar. I know it's probably rough. Okay. Uh, okay. See, everything is so crooked. Yeah. Real life cat DJ. Adam Conover put it very brilliant when he said, "I don't think you should be allowed to give every American $1 and still have over $500 million." Yeah, yeah, that is accurate. Okay. there was a while ago, they talked about there was this idea. Someone did a study and they found out that if Bill Gates were working and he was walking across the room and he dropped $100 bill, he would actually lose more money. He would actually lose money if he stopped to pick up that $100 bill because that would mean he's not working and he makes so much money per minute per hour that he would lose money if he stopped to pick up $100 bill that he dropped. Um, Okay, are you telling me that, uh what's this? Are you telling me that thoughts of a plan is worse than actual policy? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Modi just sounds like Hitler to me, to be like, you said it, I did not say it. Macy Schroeder, caste system is like a real life horror movie, in my opinion. Yeah, no, so I get that. I will say, not, yes, there's a caste system. A lot of the parts of the caste system are not legal anymore. Like, people do still act on it, but that is, it's not like the majority of the population is that way. I don't know stats on this, but there's a variety of thoughts amongst Hindus about this. So yeah, you're right though. I mean, there are definitely some things that would go wrong, but I will say that's the same amongst Christians. Okay, the Ku Klux Klan, for example, is an avowedly Christian organization. So my point is, yeah. Okay, just sound yeah, okay, caste system, yep, it really is. Yeah, okay. Alright, Um, let's continue here. I'll read more here. I know I'm getting caught up in the great chats, but let's see what else the lunatic, the gentleman not gentleman either, this person has to say, okay?
That is a true middle class tax cut. Next slide, please. These are the other important parts of the one big beautiful bill. Next slide, please. No taxes on overtime.
Oh my god. Okay, there's some joy. I'm feeling some dopamine rush into my brain hearing them chant, "Tax the rich, tax the rich." Yes, please, tax the rich. Um, please tax the rich. Um, F them, okay? I don't care. Um, all right, let's go.
We've had we've had this conversation before. As I recall, and we shared this in Columbus, if we adopted the Democrats' plan to tax the rich, if we adopted the Democrats' plan in the last Congress to tax the rich, it would generate $50 billion, which does not take us close to where we're going. And
So, okay. That actually might be true. I don't know if that's true, but the Democrats' plan, well, of course, the Democrats don't want to very much tax the rich. There's only a very few Democrats who advocate for that because the rest of them are all bought off as well. So there are some Democrats who advocate for pretty heavy taxes on the rich. Uh, but those are sort of the progressive wing of the party. But most moderate Dems, okay, as I call them, the corpo Dems, okay, are corrupt. They take massive donations and such, and they put up very little resistance. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, we should raise taxes," and then they will barely fight for it or anything. So it's very possible that the Democrats' plan would only raise $50 billion, but it doesn't have to only raise $50 billion, right? We could tax them much more than that. And they would, by the way, they would still be rich. They would still be rich. I'm not like saying let's go take their property. Not that well, I don't want to get looked at by the FBI. But my point is, you get it. Okay, let's go.
Cuts job creation. It cuts business creation. It cuts the ability for
Oh, oh,
employers.
oh, 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 okay. Oh, thank you, Mike Flood. Thank you, Mike Flood. So, cuts business creation, and I would bet he's about or job creation. I don't know if he said job creation or business creation. If he said business creation, he's probably also going to say job creation, and if he said job creation, he's probably going to say business creation. And let me tell you, remember how I told you under fascism, a lot of times, and the language gets distorted. Uh, the language gets very distorted when you hear a politician talk about job creation. You can translate that into profit creation, and I promise you, it's an almost one-to-one reliable thing to do. Um, and he's basically saying, yeah, like if we put taxes on the rich, it'll cut jobs. Uh, you mean it'll cut their profits? It'll make them lose some money. And and I know it sounds like I'm kind of making a blanket statement here, but you can almost always guess that when they say that, almost always you can guess that it means, oh, it's just kind of a coded way of saying profits, okay, or their own wealth.
To invest in their businesses. The other thing that I think is important, obviously, increase the standard deduction, child tax credit, and one of the things that I know Lincoln and the city of Lincoln is.
Oh, thank you very much. We got another super chat here. Miss Shirt, I'm sorry, kind of cuts off on my screen there. I'm from Puerto Rico and worry for people that have lower wages compared to mainland. I'm one of many that couldn't stay, finding it hard to understand policy here, let alone in Puerto Rico. Thanks for what you do. Hey, yeah, our fellow citizens there in Puerto Rico, that island, it was created as a colonial possession of the United States, and it continues to be treated like a colonial possession. I'm just going to be frank with you. Um, and part of the issue there is skin color. I'm going to be frank, okay? But there's not much effort has been put into developing Puerto Rico economically. Politicians continuously refuse to address issues on the island of Puerto Rico. Um, uh, Et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I feel for you over there. A very good friend of mine is from Puerto Rico, and he had to move to the mainland so he could find employment and such. Brilliant guy, but it's just the economic situation in Puerto Rico is very difficult. Folks, do you know that in Puerto Rico they still have there are still power shutoffs where like chunks of the island will just lose their power for a bit. A lot of people have to have generators because, I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay. Um, oh, Kieran Deepkar, thank you again. Can't express my thanks enough. She says, been loving. I'm sorry, I'm assuming you're a woman. Just from the image, been loving your content. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have no idea how helpful that is for me, my channel, etc. Okay. Let me read some other comments here. I think we may have almost made it now to the. Geez, I'm surprised. Okay, well, only one more super chat, and then okay, Kieran Deep. All right, I was just about to say. Okay, okay, fine, fine. All right, you can take your money back, Kieran Deep. No, I'm kidding. Okay, fine. All right, putting on the jester hat. Self humiliation is how I roll. Let me do this. All right. Ah. All right, all right, all right. And weirdly enough, though, this is kind of fitting for what we're doing, kind of making fun of the rich, okay, and making fun of this lunatic. Um, yeah, thank you again, Kieran Deep. Can't thank you enough. Um, let us continue now. I wanted to read through some of these other comments that I missed. We just missed. Okay, you know what? I'm going to actually set another goal now, just for why not? Uh, and if I can figure out. let me just move this down here. Set another goal. Set another goal. Start another goal. Okay, let's do 10 super chats now because because why not? Okay. How about this? So we'll do fun. Okay, in this case, we'll do 10 super chats. And then if we get 10 super chats, we can do a personal Q&A. There we go. Okay, 10 super chats, all the colors, 1 hour Q&A. And A. Okay, very good. There we go. Starting the goal. All right. Sorry, I know, folks, I just got to do this. All right. So I'm hoping that started the new goal. We'll see if it does. Okay, so let's continue now. Let me go through some more of these chats. Looks like I missed a few chats here. All right, Elizabeth Allen W. As Elizabeth Warren said yesterday in defense of Zoran. By the way, who here loves Zoran? Shout out for Zoran in the chat. Right, we gotta love Zoran. Oh no, you are worried billionaires will go hungry if we raise taxes on them? Yeah, exactly. Okay. I was actually planning to do a reaction video soon where we react to a Jubilee video where there's a billionaire being asked questions by a bunch of people. It'd be interesting to see. Mary sure, yeah, the caste system wasn't explicitly part of Himbra moment. Okay, it comes from a crooked reading of the Vedas and a concept of the Dharma. Hey, that is perfectly fair. Brahmoman. I will say that it there's something called the no true Scotsman argument. It's the basic idea that if you don't view the religion the same as I do, or you don't view something the same as I do, it must be because you're not a true Scotsman or you're not a real member of that group. Um, and I am not a fan of the caste system. I will point out, but yeah, some people that is how they interpret it. Um, so, okay, Yo-Yo Ma resist. Yes, please. That'd be nice if we had the real Yo-Yo Ma in here. Tax the rich. Mary Schroeder. I'm surprised they're willing to stop at just collecting taxes. I know, right? Okay, shut. It hurts that they can feel so comfortable willingly killing so many people through a third party. Yeah. Yep. God bless America, right? Okay, Christopher Williams, no tax on tips is just a rebate you could possibly maybe get on your return. Yes, and they kind of gutted that. There's all these exceptions to it and stuff. Though, by the way, I think it's a great idea to do it. Like when Trump actually said he might do taxes on tips, I didn't trust him, but I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. But it's not. They didn't really do it. Okay. Real life cat DJ. I don't think it would live long enough. I don't think I would live long enough to see Deep Red Nebraska district change. Yeah, I know. And folks, this is why I'm always saying you got to have hope. There's a very good game. Yes, I'm quoting a video game. It's called Disco Elysium, and it's a very lefty video game. And kind of the point of this video game is it teaches you there is always hope while there is deep suffering and unrest going on, because eventually people will grow tired of it. Okay, eventually there will be a boiling point. Now, that I'm not saying it would be pleasant if there was a boiling point, but even people in red districts are not don't feel like things are going well. Um, da, 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 tax them harder than yes, 50 billion at least 5 hospital visits. Exactly. London, it's not like we want an immediate solution that gives us where we need to be. We're aware of things take time. Taxing the rich might not solve the issue immediately. Yeah, it's a very large step, right? And I think I've mentioned before there are tons of other reforms that need to take place. Just taxing the rich isn't enough. We need tons of other reforms on top of it. But that's a big part of it. Yeah, learned helplessness. You're right, bro. Moment. Death died today. I think there should be a wealth cap at 100 million. Hey, that I would have to look into it, but I wouldn't mind. I think 100 million is enough. Okay. Chuck Schumer is rolling. Chuck Schumer is rolling in the coffin he uses as a bed. Real life cat DJ, you're my hero. Okay. Yo-Yo Ma, if we can admit that both sides of the aisles are corrupt, then what's the point of keeping the system going? They're not going to listen to us. We have to take it back by force. Okay. So Yo-Yo Ma, I get that. I understand that sentiment. Historically speaking, if let's say that were to happen, you're going to have a lot of death and destruction. And on top of that, many revolutions end up failing. Most do, actually. If you have a lot of chaos caused by mass violence and revolt or like revolution, a lot of times a dictator ends up taking over. Think Napoleon, think the Arab Spring. Uh, uh, there's other examples out there, even though I'm having a bit of a mind blank here. It can, sometimes you lose control of the situation. So, I get the sentiment, but that would be something, uh, that would be very hard to control once it started, and, so just throwing that out there. Um, okay, oh my god, trickle-down economics. Yeah, we'll talk about Reagan sometime. Trickle-down economics, of course, is when they trickle on you, like they piss all over you and they trickle all over your face. Um, I mean, I probably shouldn't say that because some people might be into that, but anyway, not judging. Alan W. Yo-Yo Ma voted for the people that want to reform the system and don't take money for. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Alan. You're right. You got to vote for those people. And I know the voting system is absolutely flawed and the two-party system is a mess, but we have to try everything else first. And I'm not, okay, if the FBI is listening, I'm not advocating that we will eventually do a violent revolt. I'm just saying last thing we can do, okay? Billionaires, Christopher Williams, billionaires need to pull them up by their bootstraps. Yeah, right. They do need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So we should stop. Okay. All right. So, folks, I am going to go back to the video now. I'm going to go back to the video for a bit because I know I've been chatting for a bit. I will keep reading these. We got a lot of good chats. I did get no, thank you for another super chat. The Matt Sai guy from India, living in the UK. Some say that Trump is using the playbook designed by our supreme leader. Uh, make of it what you will. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Matt Saigai, are you referring to Modi or are you referring to a English or a UK leader? I think you mean leader. I would not be surprised if he kind of took some cues from Modi. Okay. Or if Modi took cues from him. Okay. Okay. Let's go on now, folks. Let's keep seeing what's happening here. I'll come back to the chat.
Working very hard on, especially Mayor Larian. Sir, I get that you want to have this conversation with me, but there's a lot of people here that waited in line that want to hear the answers.
Who are these bootlickers that are just clapping in the background? God, anyway.
All right, next slide. Something that I also think is important, if you're a farmer or rancher in this state, you want to be able to pass your farm on to the next generation, and that means.
So, folks, I did notice that the gold didn't start. Apparently it started now suddenly, so we do have the gold back up. I will count like one of those chats. So we only have 9 left.
You can't sometimes pass the farm on to the next generation without paying a massive tax. So we upped this federal state tax exemption. And by the way, there's a lot of farmers in this state that don't have a lot of cash in the bank, but they've got a lot of land that they will never, ever, ever sell because that land is their family. That land is their family, and we protected that. And that matters in Nebraska. And the last thing that I want to say.
Yeah, good luck keeping your land if you're going to need to pay massive health bills because you no longer have Medicaid.
We increased the safety net for farmers at $59 billion. And finally, an additional $2.7 billion for disaster assistance. Those are the things that I wanted to share with you as to why I voted for the One Big Beautiful Bill. I truly believe that this bill will allow America to experience growth, that it will allow our communities to thrive, that it will spark our economy, that it will help farmers and ranchers, that it will take care of the vulnerable, and more than anything, I truly believe this bill protects Medicaid for the future.
Protects Medicaid for the future by basically destroying it. Lovely, lovely. Oh, thank you, Nebraska. Thank you.
We protected Medicaid. We protected Medicaid. Nebraska hospitals now have the money to be able to operate, whether it's David City or West Point or Lincoln or Omaha. And I'm here tonight to tell you that's why I voted for that bill. All right. With that, Kim, let's go ahead and take questions.
Okay.
And here's what I would say. I totally understand that you may disagree with what I'm saying, but if somebody has a question, let's let them ask the question without interrupting them.
Oh, don't you just love that? Don't you just love when they talk down to you like that? Like, don't interrupt. Again, very teacher voice sort of thing. Like, don't interrupt them. Yes, I'm trying to slaughter thousands of Americans with what I voted for, but hey, I'm the civilized one, right? You can't talk over people. You can't be rude, right? Yeah, as he's, funding mass murder, okay, abroad, and he's uh cutting healthcare. So I love it. I love it. Okay. Just makes me so happy. Maybe I do need some of that devil's lettuce at this point. Anyway, let's continue.
Because they are standing in line, they're here to get an answer, and we will do it.
Okay, so we'll start here with the questions. Congressman, we'll start here with the first question.
Okay.
All right.
I need you to be calm for just a second. I need to be able to hear the question. So.
Okay, first question. How could you vote for the big beautiful bill knowing that it would increase the national debt by $3 to $4 trillion? And then please don't say that economic growth will cover it.
Well, the reality is we need to increase our GDP in order to get out of the mess we're in with the debt. So we cut almost.
Okay, well, can everyone tell me what the other way to get out of the debt is, rather than increasing GDP? Oh, I don't know. Income, taxes on the people who have the most money. Have we emphasized this enough? Okay, I. Okay, I'm calm. We'll keep watching.
$2 trillion out of federal spending, plus the extension of the tax cuts, plus the no tax on tips. So let's go back to President Obama in 2012.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I love how the audience is like, okay, yeah, let's go back and talk about a presidential administration from many years ago, because this is what they always turn to. Scary black man in the office. He's the one who did all this stuff. So, okay, let's hear what he has to say.
You're going to agree with me when I'm done. So back in 2012,
yeah, Alice,
President
you're right.
Obama
Non-answer.
extended the Bush tax cuts. And the CBO baseline score was calculating the tax cuts going away, and the Obama White House said, no, we disagree with that. So,
Guys, I gotta be honest with you, okay? He's actually, I'm sorry to say it. Now, he's distracting. He's straw manning right now. He's talking about something that is unrelated to the question that was asked. So he absolutely is not answering the question. However, Obama did extend the tax cuts for the rich that were put in place under Bush. And this kind of goes back to the point I was making, is that both sides do this. Trump is particularly egregious, but we've seen tax cuts for the rich over multiple administrations. Okay, and Biden actually, he slightly scaled back the Trump tax cuts, but he didn't even return them to the levels of before Trump was in office. He only cut back a little bit, so it was still a little bit higher. But regardless, it is a non sequitur. He is completely trying to distract from the issue. Okay.
many of you that are in the Democratic Party have to look at how consistent we are and where we're at with the CBO. And the reality is, when President Trump passed the 2017 tax cuts, we saw explosive growth in this country. We saw explosive growth. COVID slowed our progress for obvious reasons.
So I'm sorry, tell me everyone, who here in the chat has felt explosive growth, which is kind of a funny way if he's phrasing it, in their pocketbooks because of Trump? Maybe some of you did get a slight increase in something, but I don't think many average Americans felt it. Yeah, I'm sure the stock market went up, but the stock market does not indicate how people are doing financially, how average Americans are doing financially. So also, GDP doesn't necessarily indicate how people are doing financially. It's anyway. So I don't know how he's measuring that.
But The way CBO is scoring this was objected to President Obama in 2012, and it's being objected to by President Trump and the United States Congress Republicans in 2025.
It's called a whataboutism. But what about Obama? What about Clinton? What about okay, yeah, let's go back to Hammurabi, why don't we, right?
Next question. Okay. Why why did you cut
I'm sorry, I gotta pause for that. Yeah, right. The only Shutt says the only thing explosive about the growth was how much money the rich got. Yeah.
SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
Hmm.
In 2019,
I'm
our
trying not
country
to say
spent
anything.
$60 billion on SNAP. During COVID, that number went to
They're doing it again, folks. Tax the rich. Yes, thank you, Nebraska. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that, Nebraska. I'm going to do a quick little pause here again. I'm getting a lot of chats here. Let me see what we got. I think I did see. Yes, thank you, Macy Schroeder, for the super chat. My New Year's resolution was to get more attention. Well, you got more attention. Congratulations, you're meeting your resolution. We do have again, folks, a 10 super chat, a goal of 10 super chats. If we reach it, we have 2. I know it says 1, but we have 2. If we get to 10, we'll do a personal Q&A where you can ask me questions. I already got to the jester hat, so you can humiliate me in a different way by asking personal questions. Okay, let me just see some of these here. Big Bray, yeah, Yo-Yo Ma, I'm here tonight to tell you I don't care about you or your family or your struggle. I'm going to do what I want, and there's nothing you will do about it. Suckers. Basically, that's what Mike Flood is saying. Yeah, yep. If we were to translate it into, he's using politician speak, political speech, news speak. If we were to translate into reality, that's what it would be. Big Braid, and she did look worried, right? She looked worried when she got up there to ask the question. Let's say probably because she knows it's on the list of questions, right? Resident Union Thug. By the way, great handle. I love that name. I love that username. Tax the rich. Yes, please tax the rich. Okay. Christopher Williams, let's add to the debt to get out of debt. Exactly. Makes perfect sense, right? Remember, in fascism and the contradictions and the denial of reality. Yeah, how Long Beach Dragon? How is Trump flying to Mar a Farto every week and not adding to the debt? Oh, you know it is. Oh, you know it is because you know that when you go to like a private residence like that, the Secret Service has to come with you and set up security and things like that, which is a lot of money. So yeah, adding to the debt. Bruh moment. Rapid fire bonds with sky high yields. It's definitely has never gone wrong. Bruh moment. You're speaking my language. Yeah, if you know history, you know that's right. Lay Lane, ha ha ha. Let's increase debt to get out of debt. Exactly. A resident union thug. Okay. Yeah, non-answer. Always Obama. Long Beach Dragon. Obama. Biden. Clinton. Yeah, that's basically what it sounds like here. Obama feels like centuries ago at this point. Yeah, he does. And no matter what you think about Obama, can we at least appreciate the man knew how to speak in public and he was charismatic and he didn't sound like a moron every time he got in front of a mic? And hey, I got to admit, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the things that excuse me, again, maybe been a Freudian slip there, Obama did. I'm not. But at least he offered a positive vision of the future. Remember, he was the one whose campaign slogan was hope and change. Okay. We need a politician like that who offers a positive vision of the future. Biden's campaign, his thing was no more malarkey. Shaking my head. Okay. Yeah, what about Obama? Exactly. Okay, Alan W. It's hilarious to me whenever politicians act like the deficit is a huge pressing issue for average American voters. Correct, it is not. A non sequitur. They really love this tactic. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay, Christopher Williams, true but relevant. Laughing my ass off. Inflation. London says I felt explosive growth in the damn inflation. Bro, that's for sure. Economic growth does not equal an increase in well-being. 100%. Multiple studies prove that. You can imagine that France, right before the French Revolution. Well, that's a bad example, but my point is having a lot of economic growth does not mean that the people are doing well in the country. Um, the stock market is a reflection of wealth industry, not the population that create 100%. 100%. Death died today. This is a joke, by the way. Well, I have been dabbling a bit in insider trading. I've been doing great. Are you a congressman for doing it? Hey, I am all for people investing on the stock market. Yeah, you got to make those bucks. Let's say my husband got a pay bump of 14 more dollars in an hour since COVID, and it doesn't go much farther these days. Yeah, with inflation, with the cost of housing, with the cost of healthcare, even wages have slightly gone up. But if costs don't go down or they keep going up, the wage increases don't matter much. Okay, okay, Mary Schroeder. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Shut. I utterly hate how they have this town hall, yet they are still filtering questions. Tax the rich. Yes, thank you. Do tax the rich. Macy Schroeder. Yeah, death. My bank accounts doubled and went from big to huge. Huge, huge. Okay. Um, Lane, oh my God, SNAP is such an important program. Do we really want starving children? Well, I think we all know the answer to that, Lane. Of course we do, right? The politicians love starving children. Absolutely. When Biden was around, they implemented a program during COVID that actually cut the child poverty rate by half. I mean, I don't know what you would call a successful policy, but to me, that's a very successful policy. And guess what Trump did? Cut it, got rid of it immediately. Yeah, we can throw those children back into starving. Okay, uh, uh, disgusting. Okay, well, we can't, Long Beach Dragon, we can't fund SNAP or give the poor government cheese, but we can make sure the rich get to afford $10,000 per gram caviar in a $120 million yacht. Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, we're so going back. Okay, Alan W. Obama broke my heart because he ran a pretty yeah, and was just a run of the mill neoliberal. Yeah, yeah, he was. And I know I sometimes get pushback from liberals and stuff about my comments on Obama. I just want to point out, one of the big achievement he was said to have accomplished, the Affordable Care Act. Do we know who was the first person who came up with that plan? If just tell me in chat if you know the name of the person who actually was the first politician to sort of implement that plan. And even better, if correct, Long Beach Dragon, it was Mitt Romney, a conservative. And the plan itself was actually created by an organization called the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative organization. And what Obamacare basically did, and let me point out, it was a good plan. It actually, I mean, it did improve things a little bit because it got a lot of more people health care, but it was basically a plan where you were forced to buy health care from a private company. Okay. And it was definitely an improvement from what we had before, or basically what we didn't have before. But it just didn't it's not doing well. Okay, so it was not the best plan, and he also said he would do a public option, and he did not do it. Okay, yeah, Obama disappointed me. Yeah, me too. um Tax the wealthy, absolutely. Real life cat DJ. Obama was president during the Arab Spring. I think that should inform you on my opinion of him. That being said, Trump literally lifted all the sanctions on El-Sisi and gave him Scrooge McDuck level money. Hey, I love, yeah, very true. Long Beach Dragon Romney. Yep. Okay. Big Braden. Yeah, I do feel over here I'm the only one who has critical things to say of Obama because Canadians mostly just see whatever's on the news and don't look deeper. Yeah. Yeah. I also another one of my complaints with Obama, and this might be a stickler. Okay, I might be a bit of a stickler here. Is he killed an American citizen overseas without due process? And yes, Anwar al-Awlaki, I think the guy's name was, American citizen. Yeah, the guy was probably engaging in terrorism. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm sorry, you can't do that. Constitution says so. Uh, Mm. Okay, so the Heritage Foundation, yeah, the same correct. That's the same organization behind Project 2025. Thanks for spitting facts. The public option never materialized under Obama. Yeah, and that's a very common amongst Democrats. They will be like, "We'll do public option. We'll do this and that," and then they get in there and they go, "Sorry, can't do it. Uh-oh," Um, but then when the Republicans get in, they seem to be able to get all their crap done because the Democrats don't actually want to do what they say they do, and they just kind of do a little song and dance. Oh, we can do it, okay, and then they don't do it. Love your jester hat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, Obama did do some good things. The Iran new. Oh, you know what? I will stand corrected. You're actually. I forgot. I didn't even think of that. That was one of the most brilliant moves that Obama did. He did the Iran nuclear deal, which Trump pulled us out of, and it was working. All international observers were saying Iran was following the deal. Okay, and but nope, can't have nice things. So had to get rid of that, I guess. Yeah, no, Big Braden, he was definitely the best American president in a long time. Of course, the bar is pretty low. But yeah. Ashrays, yeah, yes, I'm sorry if it Ashrays, yes, my father and I both visited Dachau. Uh, y- uh, so does yes. You were there last month. Let me know in the chat how it made you feel because I know for me it was a very touching experience. Um, It was also disturbing to see how close it was to the town. Like the town itself was basically right up against the walls, um, and so you can imagine people would know what's happening there. There's a great movie, by the way. I highly recommend everyone see it. It is disturbing. Uh, what is it called? It's about the commandant, the head of the leader, the head of Auschwitz and his family. They literally lived in reality up against the wall outside of the camp, and they just lived their lives like nothing was going on. And in this movie, it's kind of a boring movie, but that's the point. Once in a while, they'll be like gardening, and you'll hear a gunshot in the background. You'll see smoke coming out of a stack. Brilliant movie about the banality of evil. That's not the name of the movie, but how when people do evil things, a lot of times it just thank you, Zone of Interest. I highly recommend everyone watch it. Yeah, very applicable to modern day America. I recommend everyone watch it. Make sure you have tissues, or make sure if you have anxiety medication, take that. Okay, Zone of Interest. Don't you find it stupid how many comedians uh, claim to hate Trump? Meanwhile, about half the population voted for Trump life. I know. Yeah. Um, uh, makes no sense to me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all the observers got kicked out. Okay. But it was like you live from weekend, there's a lot wrong. But there's a lot he did wrong, but I won't lie. Yeah, actually saw Obama speak at the university I was at, LSA. Yeah, I mean, he was inspiring, very inspiring, especially after George W. Bush, the war criminal guy who was, had only like 3 brain cells to run together. Um, Ash Race, thank you for £5, I believe is what that is. No, that's not pounds. Euros? Euros. Yeah, please do watch the movie. It's a great, very good movie. Okay. Again, very relevant to what's happening today. All right, so let us continue now with the video. I know I keep pausing here, but let's go.
$100 billion. And for good reason. I mean, during COVID, we had a situation where we had a worldwide pandemic. We had people that couldn't work. There was a need for extra food, supplemental nutrition programs. What we did, this Congress, 2 things. We returned our spending on SNAP to our pre-pandemic level of 2019 at $60 billion. And we also said to states that have low error rates, and Nebraska has low error rates, that there's going to be incentive for states that do it right, and there's going to be a disincentive for states that have a high error rate. Now, you may disagree with the actual number we arrived at, but going from 60 billion one year to 100 billion the next year, that was the COVID pandemic. The pandemic is gone. People have gone back to work. We are now at the 2019 levels, which I think are acceptable.
Oh
Next
God.
question.
Okay.
Okay.
And what is the national debt ceiling limit? And what is the current national debt?
Our current national debt is approaching $37 trillion.
Yeah. So let's just cut taxes on the rich, right?
$37 trillion. In
Oof.
fact, to make that real for all of you, every Nebraska family pays about $3,000 of your hard-earned wages every year to service that debt. That's a kitchen table issue. That is a kitchen table issue. Every single Nebraska family pays $3,000 to service the debt.
Yep. And now the rich will pay less of that. So actions, not words.
Okay, we'll go to the audience for their first questions.
Okay, let's let her speak here, please.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I'm stereotyping here, but this woman, I bet she's going to have some great things to say. Okay, I mean, yeah. Okay, I'm assuming she looks like a badass person. Love the hair, love it all. Okay, here we go.
Our first question comes from this fine lady.
Hi, I implore you to be quiet so that we can hear his responses. Remember, Mike's coming up for re-election.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can. Okay, I'm sorry. First of all, I gotta take credit. I think I'm right. But look, if you look at how her eyebrows are raised, classic sign. She's being purposely calm right now. All right, but I'm guessing she's gonna kind of start throwing out, spitting some facts. Let's see.
And we'd really like to know what his responses are. I'm Rosina. I write you emails with concerns of your voting behavior regarding Trump and his actions. You support him, especially confirming the cabinet. Your responses are riddled with misinformation and lies. I fact check you, and then I send the responses back. And I get crickets. So I actually asked Deb through Carter, thank you, Carter, for answering the phone and being so very patient. I asked, who does the oversight for the fact checking? Well, Deb Shore does. Deb Shore's a good human. I've known her for a long time. But our oversight of these emails need to be fact checked. If I am fact checking them because they are wrong in your response, I send them back to you.
Oh God, I swear she's a teacher, right? She's like editing the letter. She's like editing the emails. Like this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. I love it, but like in a calm way. That makes yeah. Okay, I love this woman.
And I get crickets. I get kind of bummed.
Okay, I swear she's a teacher. That is a teacher thing to say. Like, Johnny, when we do all this work in class and I see you putting on this effort, and then you don't bring in your homework the next day, I get kind of bummed. Okay, I mean, okay. All right.
And this is not about partisan. This is about issues because we're about to lose our democracy.
Well, first of all, I would tell you, I totally agree with you. Carter Smith from Shelby is a wonderful person, and Deb Shore does a lot of things in the office, but I don't want to put that all on her. There are
Okay, guys. So I got some comments. Or is there something wrong with the audio? You can hear it through the? Can you hear the? Um, what are we hearing? Can everyone hear it, or does it sound kind of like reverberation or something? Maybe I need to move the mic back so that my mic isn't picking up the sound of the video. It's cleared up now. Okay, good, excellent. We'll continue. Well, now we have a moment. We are doing super chats still. We got 3 super chats. If we get to 10, we'll do question and answer. Such a good speaker. Yeah, I don't blame you. He's very good. Our president, let's say our president mentions Hannibal Lecter entirely too much. Yeah, that's what they would call a red flag. Okay. Many who voted for Trump have said that it wasn't so much a vote for Trump. Yeah. Yeah. And folks, in my prior streams, I've talked about this. People feel disenchanted with the current state of the country. They feel alienated. They're sick of what I guess this there's some problems with the definition. What they're sick of the establishment. They're sick of the same old, same old. And despite what you say, what we can rightfully say about Trump, he at least presented himself. He's not. He is establishment, but he presented himself as not being establishment. And the Democratic Party just does not seem to understand that. They're locked in this way of viewing the world. And so until we get someone who's actually a reformer and who is as charismatic, for example, as Obama, but actually advocates for real reform and change, um, I- things still aren't going to go well. Okay, and it's big frustration for me. I mean, yeah, folks, I got to be honest with you. Like I saw someone here, Big Braden, Alan W. I don't know. Trump's brain is mush at this point. Yep. Him and Braden, or sorry, Braden, him and Biden should be in a retirement home. So, uh, I will say this. I might get pushback for this. That's okay. I'll be brave. Um, what the hell were people thinking with Biden? As in, what the hell were the Democrats thinking? Remember, I read to you from 1984. The final order of the party was to not believe your eyes and ears. I was with my twin sister when Biden had that disastrous debate, and I immediately turned to her and I'm like, "Oh, he needs to drop out." Okay. Um, and then for several weeks, if not months, the media was all like, "Oh, he's fine," even though he was not fine. You could see it on camera. And it's very frustrating to me because it's one of those things where it's like it's right in front of your face. But anyway, we can talk about that more later. Uh, we freed ourselves from a country that was in horrid debt situation. We're about to meet the same front. Yeah, time is a flat circle. Um, I don't know that one guy in the back of the room is yeah, Big Braden, yeah, but I love him. Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay. Let's say Big Red and I agree, but MAGA will never admit the way the left has. At least acknowledge that Biden was too. And you know what? Let's say I agree with you on that. I am concerned that MAGA doesn't have that ability to reflect. I am glad that there are at least some people, some Democrats who are able to reflect. And there have been more people that were fighting for Biden before who have now come out and said, yeah, that was a mistake. Um, but it also shows an issue with the institution of the Democratic Party that was allowed to be pushed through. And by the way, folks, just as a matter of fact, do we want a president who might have some cognitive decline? Um, I mean, it's also just not good for the country. Not even if we ignore the fact that it's not good for winning elections, it would not be good for the country to have someone who's clearly having some cognitive decline. And by the way, this applies to Trump too. Clearly, some cognitive decline there too. All right. How do you explain people that say, "Oh, Trump or Bush?" How do you explain to people outside of America that Trump or Bush win elections in America? I actually so Ashrays. Over the last few days, I've sort of tried to do that. You have to understand that in America, our system has a lot of problems right now. There's a lot of corruption in politics. Um, there's a lot of there have been all these undemocratic things done to sort of limit the people's say. The economy's not good, and every situation in history where this has happened, you see a polarization of politics. So you see people starting to go far right and far left, especially after a depression or a recession, which we had in 2008. So it's sort of a lot of those things combined could lead to Trump, on top of things like the internet and social media, misinformation and such. That would be sort of a very, very simplistic way or a very basic way of explaining it to you. Um, he should have stayed a one-term president. Yeah, I agree. And remember, folks, and a lot of folks forget this, but he said he would only be a one-term president. Biden did. But uh, again, I probably shouldn't say this. For those who are kind of nerds in chat who like fantasy, you might know what a lich is. A lich is like a wizard that removes their soul from their body and puts it in an object so that they can live forever. And they're obsessed with power. And so my joke here is a lot of those politicians, they look like liches. They're like literally falling apart and they're decrepit, but the power keeps them going, right? Or if you've watched Lord of the Rings, Gollum, okay, like he wants the precious. It keeps him alive because he just wants the power. He wants to stay in power. Honestly, that's kind of what it feels like in a lot of ways. yeah, I do have a problem with messaging. Yeah, but at the same time, Long Beach Dragon, a lot of time their politics are a lot of times the policies that they're trying to communicate are milk toast to begin with. They're sort of just tinkering around the edges. And that is not this moment does not call for tinkering around the edges, though yeah, you're absolutely right. That's another issue. Their messaging is horrific. Um, yeah, no, I agree. And that's the Alan, it's more important to criticize the politicians. And let me tell you, if you talk to social scientists, we like to think that free will is a very big thing for humans, right? That we all have a just free will to make decisions about things. But neuroscientists and such, and social scientists and psychologists will tell you that again, don't push back too much on me for this, but that free will is kind of not a thing. What I mean by that is that we make decisions based off experience. We make decisions based off our environments. We are animals, and so to blame the voters for what happened is ignoring all the factors that created the mindset that had made the voters do that. Um, and Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that decisions aren't important, but e economic realities, social realities create, situations or create how people the decisions people make, all right? Um, there's actually a really good book, by the way, uh, by is it Sapolsky? Robert Sapolsky. Uh It's called Determined: A Science of Life Without Free Will, and he's a very famous neuroscientist. I believe he's at Stanford or Yale or something like that, and he talks about this. When you make a decision about something, your brain actually the neurons shoot off before you have even thought you've made the decision. And again, I think it's good to believe that there's a free will, but if you want to make social change and stuff, it is better to look at structures, systems, and experiences. Macy Schroeder, I was battling rural American healthcare system as my GMA started to die during this horrendous debate. Uh, Alan, do the Democrats have a messaging problem or a policy problem? Yeah, no, I agree with you. Both. Real life Catty J. I mean, Bernie is also too old for. Hey, I agree with you. I told you before, I don't want to be viewed as a Bernie bro. I was probably a Bernie bro previously, but I think at this point, he might be getting up there in age, and it's just I don't know if he can. There's a lot of baggage there too. Um, yeah. Uh, Gerrymandering is getting worse too. It absolutely is. Ashrays again. The two outsiders. How do you explain Trump or Bush winning elections? The American president does impact the rest of the world. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'll let if anyone else wants to respond to that. People from outside the country. Okay, Macy Schroeder, Deb Fisher said he would self-impose term limits too. Yeah, yeah. Politics will eventually corrupt them all, I'm sure. Yeah, it's hey, that is, that I would not be surprised, I would say. Yeah. Um, so I'm here for the free will. I'm so here for the free will debate. Hey, I know, Macy, right? It's one of the things that when I talk about it, yeah, I kind of hesitate to because it's such an important part of our cultural consciousness, the idea of free will, and it's also a very deeply ingrained religious belief in people. But the science doesn't really point to that. Um, that does, yeah, we are biological meat sacks. I'm not trying to downplay the importance of humans. I'm a humanist. When it comes to thinking about solutions to problem, you need to think broader than just individual choices. Okay. For example, the debate about guns that people will say, oh, well, people kill people, guns don't kill people, or, yeah. Uh, but yeah. Okay, yeah, they do. The problem is systemically, if you have a large enough population, some of those people are going to want to kill people. It's a matter of statistics. So if you have access to all kind of guns all over the place, you're going to get people killing lots of people because a large chunk of your population, or maybe not even a large chunk, maybe 2%, maybe less than maybe 1%, are going to try to kill people. It's just a matter of statistics. So structurally, you need to change that so that that can't happen anymore, because you're not going to get rid of the people that want to do that. Okay, which is why the almost there's not a single country in the world that has as many gun-related deaths as we do, except unless you're talking about war zones. But uh, duh, right? Okay. Uh, there is a line, Alan. There is a line between blaming voters, hack bullshit, and commenting on the trajectory of the culture. Yeah. Laley and I agree. Okay, no, I agree. Christopher Williams. Yeah, we should definitely hold voters accountable. People, who vote in a certain way, we need them to understand the results of what they've done or what they voted for. But in order to fix things, it needs to be more structural. Okay. He has yeah, he does. Robert Sapolsky, I highly recommend him. He's also just a really entertaining speaker. He did a famous lecture on depression that will utterly change your view of depression. You can find it on YouTube. Okay. Uh, yeah, you can. Even if there is free will, you can still make predictions based on statistical averages. Death died today. My math teacher friends would hug you right now. Yes. Okay. He has. Okay. How do I feel about AOC? I like AOC. Um, I have not been a big fan of some of her votes recently in Congress, including where she voted to send money to. But she is better than most in Congress. I will say that. I think, yeah, yeah. Overall, I like AOC compared to most of the other politicians in Congress. Real life cat DJ. I'm from Egypt, and I can tell you that American politics has massive implications in my country. Um, yeah, yeah, she has. You're right, LSA. Yes, no, Egypt definitely. We fund Egypt with a lot, for example, weapons and things like that. Our inert foreign policy has a major effect on Egypt. Uh, yeah, we have massive implications. The whole world has massive implications. When you have a superpower like the United States, it has massive implications. Um, Yeah, Yo-Yo Ma, that is what I'm referring to. That is what I'm referring to. Okay. Yes, and Big Braden, yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Okay. Um, okay, let's continue here, folks.
People in my Washington office that also assist me as I write back to you. I don't know what emails you sent specifically because
There are plenty of them.
I'm sure. And here's what I would say to you. You are right as a constituent to want to go through this with me, and I will, with your help, talk to Deb. We will go through your emails, and we will go through my responses. You can come to my office, and we will sit down and go through every one of them.
This is just a little bit of commentary here. Don't you love it how so many of these powerful men always direct the work to a woman nearby? It's just something I've noticed. Let's go talk to Deb. Do it. You'll give it to Deb. No, I get it. That's her job. She's a secretary. But it is kind of funny that, yeah, I don't know. I always feel like I've seen a lot of politicians do things like this, where then they always direct all the work to a woman. Well, anyway, and then they put it on them. "Oh, direct it to her. She's the one responsible. She's the one responsible. Anyway. Okay.
It may take me about 2 weeks
Sir?
because I need to get all that done, okay?
Sir, you will need to do that with a lot of people.
Well, here's the deal. You came tonight. You asked me a question. I'm willing to do it with you because you matter. I represent you. I'm happy to sit down with you. I will add one thing. The United States House of Representatives does not confirm the cabinet. That belongs to the U.S. Senate, just for clarity, okay? Thank you very much for being here. Connect with Deb. I'm happy to sit down with you.
Congressman Flood, I come from 11 generations of military citizens who have served this nation.
Real fast first of all, I'm excited to hear what this veteran has to say. But for the folks that are discussing right now about the vote AOC had recently, no, she did not take money from, for example, AIPAC. She doesn't actually accept donations like that, which is one of the reasons I like her. I believe the issue here is that, for example, was it Cori Bush? Well, Jamal Bowman Other progressive have lost their elections because of their stance on Israel, because AIPAC money comes flooding into their opponents. So I would suspect that the reason she may have done this was to protect herself for future elections. That would be my cynical take on it. Yeah.
I've seen the long-term effects of service on veterans' health and on well-being. This budget reconciliation bill that you support threatens to cut all of their benefits and support programs that go along with that. How can you stand behind this bill that erodes the very services that people like me, my family, our families, and younger vets coming home today rely on to live decent, healthy lives?
Speak, King. You got this.
Thank you for your service to the country, and thank you to the
Yeah, thank you for your service. And then he's going to give him basically a middle finger with his
generations
answer.
of service to the country.
Please,
At my first town hall, I had the opportunity to. At the first town hall, the main issue that I took away from that was concerns about veterans' benefits, not only in the proposed bill, but just with the new secretary coming in. I met personally with the Veterans Secretary. We went over everything, and I will tell you, our Veterans Affairs are going to be better than they've been in a long time under this president. The Secretary, we sat down for the better part of an hour, and I would have to get my notes from that meeting, but I asked a lot of questions that came from...
Deb, where are the notes? I was waiting for him to do that. Anyway, yeah, you guys, someone made a comment here. Yeah, okay, Big Braden. I saw a comment here, dude, like America's going to make soldiers go to Vietnam and Afghanistan and not take care of them after you've made them commit war crime. Yeah. It is, by the way, historically speaking, the death knell of a civilization to not take care of your armed forces. The Roman Empire, that's one of the reasons why it fell apart, okay? You train people to fight and kill, okay? You train people to do combat, you arm them, you prepare them for war, and then you don't support them. What'll eventually end up happening? We actually saw it happening during the Great Depression. After World War I, there were a bunch of veterans who came back and the government was not supporting them. They actually camped in D.C. and brought guns, and you will start having big issues. You're going to have like a military coup or a coup of a bunch of armed, trained soldiers, and it is continuously a problem that we do not support these people. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. You get what I'm saying. Just one more, just a reminder, folks. We got we got 4 super chats. Someone did try to ask me a personal question, but sorry, we haven't reached the limit yet. That'll be so. We got what? Need 6 more? 6 more of any amount. And we can do some personal questions. And by the way, I have seen that the South Park episode, but I would not call well. I know I'm not going to answer it. What am I doing? Okay, I need to follow the rules. Okay, let's continue.
From that Columbus town hall. And when the time is right, and I have that in front of me, I will go through that. But I truly believe that number one, our veterans served our country. They were made a promise that we will provide their health care. I have a record of supporting, as a member of the legislature, our state veterans homes, and I have a record in our Congress of supporting veterans, and I will be happy to get more information from the Secretary. If you have specific programs you're concerned about, please reach out to Taylor and get us that information.
Oh, not Deb this time. Okay.
We have a next question right here.
My question is fiscal. With 450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and 600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps, and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist
Facts.
country?
Facts. You're spitting facts. Yeah. Oh, and listen to that. Listen to that.
Americans.
Yeah. So next time people tell you, "Oh, you're overreacting" when you use the word fascist, we see it. We see this. Okay. That makes me very happy. Brings a tear to my eye. Okay. Yeah, she is spitting facts. Um, hey, Big Braden, don't get me excited, okay? Don't make me hope. Um, oh, I had not seen that clip. Okay, maybe I need to get start watching more stuff on social media. Oh, love her. Okay, let's go.
Went to the polls in November, and they had a choice
And everyone's cheering for her. Oh, this improves my mood significantly. Okay.
between a Democratic candidate that had an open border, no enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human.
Lies, 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 lies. Actually, Obama, I think he deported around 3 million people. The border has never been open. There has been, yeah, there were a lot of immigrants coming across the border and such at various times and kind of different waves and such, but it's never been open. Eh, this is a complicated issue, but regardless, it's a lie.
Trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border, get illegal immigrants out of our country, stop the fentanyl, stop the human trafficking, stop the drugs,
Stop the human trafficking. Oh, let's send Ghislaine Maxwell to a low security prison in Texas, even though she's the worst human trafficker in American history. Oh, let's not release the Epstein files. Oh, I could probably go on with this. Unbelievable. Let's stop the human trafficking. Okay. Hey, I'm all for stopping human trafficking. So let's actually stop the human trafficking and punish the people who do the human trafficking. Absolutely. Oh, mm, mm. Okay.
the crime, stop the violence. That's what Americans voted for. Americans voted for a border that is secure. And I support the president enforcing our immigration laws, which, by the way, were written by Congress.
Okay. Next question. Next question. So how can you justify taking health care away from 78,000 Nebraskans?
As I explained
Excellent question.
before, when you have an additional $700 million coming into the state of Nebraska for Nebraska hospitals, we have a state where our infrastructure is going to be supported, is going to be funded, and is going to be available for the people that need it. If you are able to work and you're 28 years old and you choose not to work, you don't get free health care in America.
Yep. You get to die. I mean, isn't that what he's implying here, right? I mean, if you get sick when you're not working, it doesn't make it better if you it doesn't make it better if you're not working. You're still sick. So congrats. You are not a cog in the machine. You don't have a job. Therefore, you must die. I mean, that's sort of the implication here. You must suffer. You must die. Okay, let's say in theory, folks, let's say in theory, there is someone who's lazy, or you might want to call lazy or whatever, okay, who doesn't want to work. I don't give a shit. They still deserve health care. Okay. It doesn't, it is barbaric to not give health care. Okay. Um, yeah. We'll continue.
If you are in this country illegally, you do not get free health care in America.
Okay, next question is economic development depends on
See you,
energy
London. Bye-bye.
development. The fastest, cheapest resources to bring online are wind, solar, and storage. Plus, we can produce it right here in Nebraska. What are you doing to promote our clean energy industry?
Remember, folks, I'm curious what his response was be because remember, he was funded by an energy corporation. Now, I don't know what the source of the energy for that corporation is, but if it's coal or gas or something like that, we can expect what his answer will be here. Okay.
I think that's a great question.
Matt Guy. Oh, I know. And Big Braden, you're speaking my language when you talk about people being based on their production. Yeah, clean coal. Insane. Remember, folks, Trump is so stupid. I'm really getting worked up now. Trump is so stupid. He literally thought that clean coal was coal that you cleaned. that you like took a brush out and cleaned it. Oh, maybe I do need some. Okay. Yeah, and he also said that the sound of the windmills cause cancer. And they kill the birds. Oh, okay. Continuing. Oh, I do like that. Christopher Williams, 28 years old, you hit Midsommar. Right. If anyone's seen that movie, that's a great reference.
I believe in an all of the above strategy for energy, which means nuclear as well. I agree with nuclear. As I'm from a part of the state where we have a lot of wind generated power. I'm from a part of the state where we have solar power. There has to be a balance. And in our state, we have to make sure, and I love the battery storage idea. I think when battery storage becomes relevant and it works and it's there for Nebraskans, well, the technology isn't to the point where it can be used all the time. But here's the challenge. With artificial intelligence coming on the scene, it's going to take a lot more energy for us to meet our energy needs to be able to remain competitive with artificial intelligence. China is...
So that organization that donated the money to him is a natural gas organization. Is a natural gas, so a fossil fuel company.
Is bringing on a whole bunch of new energy using coal. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen in America, but I'm saying we have to up our energy game. We have to up our energy game, which means small nuclear reactors, which I've been supportive since I've been in the legislature. Permitting nuclear power plants, which has been very difficult. Wind and solar is always part of that array of opportunity, and not shutting down our coal plants when they provide consistent baseload generation of power all the time. So I think that's a very good question, and as Americans, what we need to do is we need to pick an energy policy. We need to put it in the statutes, in the code, so that industry, energy providers can count on that stability so that they can make long-term investments. The way it's gone from President Obama, you know, he had to President Trump.
Oh God, here we go. Okay.
To President Biden, there's been a regulatory whiplash every 4 years. Right or wrong, I'm just saying, energy providers aren't willing to make an investment when there's wild changes all the time.
Next question. Okay, next question. Why are you covering up the Epstein files?
Fire, yes. Mr. I hate human trafficking.
Let's be very clear. At the next pro forma session of the Congress, you'll find my name as a sponsor on a resolution from the House Rules Committee to release the Epstein files to protect the victims and not re-victimize them again. I support Jamie Comer, who is the House's Oversight Committee Chairman, subpoenaing Ms. Maxwell later this month to come.
By the way, folks, yeah, that's actually not that bad. I got to admit, Big Brain, I was expecting him to sort of dance around it, but there have been some Republicans, because they're getting a lot of pushback from their base, who are signing on to the idea of forcibly releasing those files. By the way, folks, remember how we talked a few days ago about how Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred to a low security prison, and I made the comment about what is she getting? I mean, what is the government getting in return? Today, we think it was yesterday, there was an article that was released that said, where she had told the investigators, and the Trump administration is considering releasing it, that she never saw Trump doing anything improper. How do we know if that's true? And why did they put her in lower security? Do we see how there might be a link there? It definitely doesn't. That doesn't mean Trump didn't do anything. It could very well be that they basically said to her, "Hey, we'll put you in low security, but just keep your mouth shut." Okay. But regardless, let's continue.
Testify in Washington. I am for the release of those records.
We have a question right here.
So my comments are about the debt and how we can fix our debt, so tax U.S. stock trades. raise the Social Security cap to 400,000 and the Medicare rate to 200,000, eliminate corporate subsidies, especially for the military industrial complex,
Thank
appropriately
you.
staff the IRS so they can target rich tax cheats.
Thank you.
Ignore
Yes,
the
that.
Governor-Norquist contract that you signed and raise taxes on the rich. Broaden the tax base by closing loopholes, the carried interest offshore tax havens, and adjust rates on high earners. And there's more, but
That's quite the Christmas list. You got a
Yeah,
lot of
yo-yo
stuff on
ma.
there.
That's quite the Christmas list. It's a fictional thing that
I will receive that as input. I don't exactly know where I'd even start answering that question other than we cut next to $2 trillion of federal spending with the bill we passed, and we protected Medicaid.
lie, lie, lie.
Next question.
Question right here.
There's a saying that silence is complicity. Your
Oh, guy. I know I'm going to like this guy. Silence is complicity. This is why you should watch Zone of Interest, okay?
silence tells us that you have no problem with the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The pardoning of all those involved, the big
Oh, you're right. I just saw. I love the dude's shirt. Thank you, Big Braden. Let me take a look. Yes, okay. When fascism, it says when fascism comes to America, it will be. You know what? I can't see the rest. I'll see if I can pause it. So
about
we
the
can.
20
Oh, okay. It will be wrapped in the flag. Oh, yes, yes. This man. Okay. Uh. All right. I love it.
20 election with absolutely no evidence. These are all markers. These are markers of fascism. I have read a dozen or so books on authoritarianism and fascism. You said in Seward
This
that
guy.
you were not a fascist. Your complicity says otherwise. Have you ever spoken out against this administration and its
Yeah, no, you're right. You're Big Brain. I think you're right. When fascism comes to America, it'll be wrapped in the flag and carrying the cross. Yeah. If anyone's interested, what were they called? There was a fascist movement in Romania. I believe it was called the Iron Cross, or why can't I remember the name of it? But it was like heavily mixed up with Catholicism, and they used crosses and stuff all the time. Same thing in Spain. Anyway, that's not unusual that it is mixed up with like the dominant religion. Yeah.
Project 2025, which is a fascist machine. Have you ever spoken out? There are a number of people, it's been reported many
Has this guy read Umberto Eco or Roger Griffin?
times in the news that there are a number of our colleagues, Republican
Thank you.
colleagues,
The Iron Guard. That was the name of the group.
who do not like this man and they speak against him behind closed doors in private. Maybe you're one of them. There is a thing, profiles encourage. Why don't any of you, because you know better, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Sir, I want to be very clear with you.
No, look. Well, I'm sorry. Okay, great. Look at his eyes. Look at his eye. He looks like. "Ugh, what am I gonna do? Okay, let me go back a little bit here. How?
Why don't any of you, because you know better, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Sir, I want to be very clear with you. Give me a chance to answer his question, I'd be happy to. Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series.
By the way, Vladimir Putin literally has press briefings where people can ask him questions. And we could debate whether Putin is a fascist. There are some disagreements there. He's definitely an authoritarian. Probably is a fascist, to be honest. But regardless, I mean, you can hold press conferences. It's just factual. You can hold press conferences and be a fascist.
And I will tell you this, I support law enforcement. And what happened on January 6, 2021 was not right, and I'm on the record saying so. I'm sure you can Google it. But I support law enforcement. I have prided myself on supporting law enforcement since I began as a member of the Judiciary Committee in 2005, and we started working on child sexual assault. We started working on the sex offender.
See, again. Oh, he hates child sexual assault so much, right? But his party and his president, the one he's very loyal to, is covering up massive child sexual assault. I mean, what have we come to as a country? I mean, I did like.
The registry, we started working on all of these different DWI laws to make our streets
Yeah,
safer.
blah blah blah
I
blah.
believe
You're
in
right,
law
resident
enforcement.
union
I
thug.
believe in the rule of law. I believe in the rule of law. It matters to me. We have a lot of people.
Yeah, I believe in the rule of law. I just don't believe in due process. I think we should throw all the immigrants into concentration camps. I don't believe in just little things like that.
They need to know when I see something that I don't agree with, I don't run to the TV station as my first stop. I try to stop it before it gets worse. I try to stand up and go to work to represent the people that I have in this district. And sir, I believe in law enforcement. Thank you.
Next question.
All right, we have another question right here.
I believe in fair taxation, but I disagree with personally benefiting at the expense of lower-income Nebraska citizens. Trump is a
So he's a regular moral human being, right?
pathological liar, and citizens can't believe a word that comes from the convicted felon's mouth. Keeping Nebraska in mind, what actions are you going to support or initiate that will provide health care and food assistance for low-income families, protect Medicare, not increase the national debt, unmask the ICE terrorists, close alligator Auschwitz, and impeach Trump
Auschwitz, yeah.
if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell?
We protected Medicaid and saved tax.
Oh my God, the bullshit is just spewing out of him. I can smell it from here. Uh, we were protecting Medicaid by cutting it massively.
Taxpayers millions of dollars from waste, fraud, and abuse. This program, over the long term, will spend way too much money that we cannot afford if we don't protect it for those that need it. There are vulnerable people that need Medicaid. There are pregnant women that need Medicaid. There are folks that need to be in a nursing home that need Medicaid. We need to figure out how to keep more people in their home receiving care because we can't afford everybody going to the nursing home. So, sir, we, in my opinion, as your representative.
Oh, Braden, when you say I hear the more he repeats, the more I believe it, there was a famous quote. I don't quote me on it. It's very close to this, though. Hitler basically said, make a lie, make it big, repeat it often, and the people will believe it. Okay. Repetition is the key to sort of indoctrinating people. And politicians like the right wing, especially, that's all they do is they just repeat the same talking points over and over again. And eventually it sticks in people's brains. And by the way, the bigger the lie, the more hard it is the more hard it is if you repeat it to believe it's not true, because you think in your head, well, they can't possibly be lying about that. That would be a ridiculous lie if they were believing it, if it wasn't true.
With the $700 million coming.
Macy Schroeder. Yeah, good quote, by the way. Oh, thank you. You're right, Brumman. It was Goebbels. It was not Hitler. Yeah, good point there, Macy Schroeder, about 1984. Ask the lady to send herself. All right, folks. A reminder here: we got super chats. If you would like to send some money, if we get to 10, we can do some personal questions. Yeah, that's true. LSA. Yeah, you're right. Lincoln is more progressive than the rest of this state, Nebraska. Toya says the audacity. Yeah, yeah, okay. I hate Big Braden. I hate child sexual assault so much. I voted for Donald J. Trump. Oh, don't even get me started. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's go down here. Let's
Into
continue.
the state, the $50 billion rural hospital fund that we worked on, and the common sense protections of requiring people to work if they want free health care and no illegal immigrants getting health care for free. I think that
Thank you, Iceblade065 for the super chat. I wish they wouldn't have asked huge questions, and I would have asked simple, pointed questions. I totally agree with you, Iceblade. You're thinking like an educator or even like a PR person, right? If you're for the sake of optics and for the sake of sort of catching the politician in a lie, if you make the question simpler, it is much harder to sort of dodge around it. Because if you put a bunch of things in the question you're asking, the politician or the person you're interviewing can kind of dance around certain points. So I actually agree with you. I wish Iceblade. I wish they would have asked. I wish they would have asked slightly less layered questions. I understand. Like obviously they're not educators or they're not uh, PR people and I guess they only get one real chance probably to go to the mic. So they're kind of trying to get all their questions in at once, but still you're right. It would be better if they were simpler. Hello, Pi KY. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Yes. Gotta love the jester, comment. Simply ask yes or no questions. Yeah. You could ask him. So, this report says that, this many people will die. Do you think this, because of ending Medicaid, are you okay with those people dying? Something like that. That might not be the best way to phrase it, but you get it. Um, yeah, they will still dodge it, Alice. That does not mean you're right. You're right, but that does not mean they won't dodge it. But it'll be much more obvious if when they dodge it. Okay, if it's just a yes or no question, everyone can see the dodge. It's harder to pick up on a dodge if it's within a layered series of questions. And again, I know I'm being a bit too harsh. These are just regular Nebraskan stuff. But yeah, just for future reference, though. Okay. All right. Uh, why did the okay? Well, I guess we have what I thought we had more than just 3 super chats. Regardless, I mean, for this current limit we got. But anyway, yeah. Okay, there you go. The correct for a moment. Okay, let's continue.
it's entirely reasonable.
Okay, next question. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Well, I'll tell you what. I actually have this number right here.
Okay, folks, I'm a fool. I actually set the timer here for. I made the timer too short, so we got 5 super chats, I believe. So I will set it for 5 more, and then I'll make the longer this time, and then so we only need 5, and then we can do the Q&A. If anyone has been counting, I doubt it, but I think we've had 5. So I'll restart that goal. Thank you, Shut, for the feedback. All right. Let's see if it gets started here, and we'll keep watching while it's doing that.
We actually, and it was in one of my slides, 1 year ago, almost to this day, we were at the State Chamber fly-in, and I was the first in our congressional delegation to sound the alarm about the farm economy. I've been talking to community bankers across this state that are worried that a lot of our producers with
Thank you,
corn
Macy.
at
Yes.
$3.80 a bushel and soybeans.
Got another super chat here from Macy. Yes, thank you very much, Macy. We always have had 3. I know. I noticed that, and my incompetence is truly astounding. It's echoing again. Maybe I'm getting my headphones a bit too close here, because maybe you can hear it through there. Let's try this again. 5 super chats. Okay. We can. Yeah. Okay. We've always had 10. Okay. Let me just quickly start another goal here. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, work for me. Yeah, the button is not There we go. Okay. Okay. So I think we definitely have. I think we have 6 super chats now. We just need 4 more. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll continue. Are we getting mic feedback if I turn this back
down
on?
from what they should be, and higher inputs are going to have trouble making their payments. And I started to talking to local bankers about what this year's operational notes renewal would be. We made it. We made it through that. The actually, that's not
Thank you.
true. I'll talk to you about that in a second. In December, we provided $10 billion in economic aid to America's farmers, mostly for the American Southeast, Georgia, Mississippi, those states. I tell you what, though, I am worried about next year for our farmers and ranchers. I am worried about it. And let me tell you.
Oh, I'm so worried about it. I'm not going to do anything, but it keeps me awake at night while I'm sitting in my mansion, sitting and rubbing, all that donor money all over my body. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry, that was kind of gross, but you get my point.
A couple of things that we did do. We put a $59 billion increase for the Ag Safety Net programs, which is a $9 billion increase over the prior fiscal year. And you're not going to like this next part, some of you.
Thank you, LSA, for the super chat. We need more hostile town halls. Yes, I totally agree. Okay, I totally agree. We just need 3 more super chats, folks, and then we can do a Q&A, and we'll reach that. Okay.
But President Biden did no trade deals in 4 years. He did not stand up for Nebraska farmers when it came to white corn and the ban for the Mexican president's wife. Farmers and ranchers in this state are going to get a far better deal from Donald Trump's trade negotiations than we ever got under.
Oh, geez, I can see it coming. Okay, Macy, thank you for the $2 donation. Are y'all doing 1 million rising? Yeah, we should. We should have 1 million rising. All right, just 2 more to reach the goal.
And this is the only way to improve our chances to grow.
Jeez, here we go. Okay. Thank you, Big Braden, for the $5. You guys want healthcare without working? What are you, communists? Mike Flood 2025. Oh, they should put that on his tombstone. Absolutely. Okay. All right, folks, 1 more, and then we can get some personal questions going. Let's finish this up.
Our farm income.
Okay, next question. Okay, next question is, what specific action are you taking to defund or continued support to Israel and their aggressions on the West Bank and genocide
It's like Mossad took her vocal cords, huh?
against Palestinians living in Gaza?
I have said from the start, what happened on October 8th was an abomination. Well, October 7th, sorry. I support Israel. America has no better ally than Israel. And they have every right to root out Hamas and these evil terrorists, whether they're in Gaza, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's the Houthis, whether it's the Iranians. They live under threat of nuclear and vicious attack every single day.
Disgusting. I don't know what else to call that. That's just absolutely disgusting. I get all these emotions welling up like this, just anger from hearing that. No better ally. Okay. Do you know there have been many actually terrorist attacks within America, including 9/11, that were inspired by our support for Israel? Americans die because of the actions of Israel. A lot of them do. A lot have died. Does anyone know who it was that claimed that there was intelligence that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction? Anyone know who that was? Who literally gave the United States intelligence agencies claimed that there were weapons of mass destruction? Bibi Netanyahu, Mossad. And we all know how that turned out. Okay. The say, the saying that I support a country defending itself. Of course, who doesn't? It's obvious. Um, but that's not what's happening right now. Okay, it's literally mass slaughter of civilians. Entire stadiums full of civilians. If you want to kind of visualize it, we don't even know the full number because journalists aren't allowed in. So I mean, yeah, I can't. I just yeah. Oh, folks, I just noticed actually. Yeah, okay, we got it. We got the super chats for the revolters. I would say thank you. All right, thank you, resident union thug. Thank you. I like the little bird there. That's kind of funny. That would make a really good roast, wouldn't it? That little bird. It's got has a lot of meat on it. Anyway, Michael Bluth. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, geez. All right. So you all got it. We got it. We can do the Q&A now. I will say we've been doing this now for about I think we've been doing it for what almost two oh yeah over 2 hours. So we can maybe we can react to the rest of this some other point. I know it with all the commenting and stuff or no, all my talking it's kind of taken longer. So let's just do that Q&A now. All right. So let's just take a moment, relax. Let's just chat. All right. Let me see if I can actually just move this up over here and let's move. Oh, no, I don't want to move that. I want to move this part, get it up to there like that. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. I can see you all now. Very nice. Well, okay, let's have some questions. What do you want to know? Within reason, within reason. Okay. What do we got? What do we got? What kind of personal questions you got for yours truly? Let's even, man, this is kind of breaking. Emo or goth? Okay, you got it, Macy. No, honestly, I don't think I was either. I was a punk, so I had I would wear a chain. I had colored hair. I had a bunch of patches on this coat I would wear. I had boots for a while. Uh, yeah, so I guess probably not either one, not emo or goth. I'd never really had the dark like hair thing going like they do in South Park. Do I like spicy chicken sandwiches? Yes, I love spicy food. Okay. Um, yeah, love spicy food. I lived in Indianapolis for a while, and there's a lot of Cajun food there because just for historical reasons, and I really grew to love it. Also lived in Boston. There's a lot of immigrants living in Boston. It's a majority minority city, so I became obsessed with spicy food. Okay. Um, My Chemical Romance or Lincoln Park. Oof. Probably My Chemical Romance if I had to choose between the two. Okay, if I had to. I like a lot of punk music though. Yeah. Actually, I like a lot of different kinds of music. I used to be very into punk. I still like a lot of punk music. How do you feel about good question, Real Had you How do you feel about the Hassan Piker and Kyle Kalinske wing of the leftist movement? That's an interesting question. Would you place them on the same part of the wing? Because far as I know, Kyle Kalinske is not as far left as Hassan is. But Kyle Kalinske, well, as a person, he's a great guy and he does a lot of really good work. There have been occasions, and this could happen to everyone, where I have watched things that he has posted and they have just been factually not true. Because I will look into it and it'll turn out to be um, not true. That being said, most of what he says is true. Hassan, I find him very entertaining. Uh, I like a lot of what he says. I love his advocacy for example, the issue with Gaza and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I don't know if I really. He's okay. I have some complaints. Like again, sometimes I'll be listening to him and he'll say something historical that I'm like, I don't know. Though, of course, I know I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that, though. But I'm sure I probably make mistakes too. But yeah. See here. How do you feel about the Hassan Piker? It stands for okay. My Chemical Romance. How do you feel about the success of the Jubilee reaction with your video? That's how I discovered you. Yes. I mean, I was surprised. I was shocked. Okay. I blew up very quickly on YouTube because of that reaction video. We might actually do more of those. I mean, we are going to do more reaction videos with my dad. Um, but yeah, I was very surprised. And I've been wanting to do YouTube for a while because I wanted just a bigger audience. I wanted to be able to spread the word to more people. Um, so yeah, it was quite a happy surprise. I was shy. I literally woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh my God, I'm blowing up on you. Like, I was not expecting it. Okay. And my dad and I were both like kind of celebrating. We were very happy about it. Okay. What do you teach? I teach social studies. I'm currently teaching US history and personal finance. And I actually am teaching some English right now too. Before I've taught a lot of AP classes before. I taught AP psychology, AP US history, AP world, things like that. What else do I teach? What else do I teach? I created a class called the History of War. I know that kind of sounds strange for being me because I know I seem like I might not be someone who is totally into military history, but I do find it absolutely fascinating, even though I'm basically a pacifist or I'm very not pro war. Okay. I think the history of war is very interesting. Um, Favorite band? I've been getting back into Radiohead. Oh, Radiohead is really good. Okay, that's a really hard question. What is my favorite band? I like a lot of different bands. One of my favorite is of Monsters and Men, and I know that's not punk. I just really like the sound of their music, or the vocals and stuff. Arcade Fire is also very good. There's a lot of really good bands out there. Flogging Molly, if anyone's ever heard of that, that's sort of an Irish punk band. If anyone wants to hear a good song, uh, listen to "What's Left of the Flag" by Flogging Molly. It is a song that is very pro Irish Republican Army. Okay, if you listen to the lyrics, you'll be able to hear what they're saying. Um, okay, can't spell Indiana without India. That's why I. Uh, oh, I just lost my spot. There we go. Okay, can't spell Indiana without India. That's why the food is. Yeah, hey, uh, real life cat DJ. I got to tell you, India, the food there out of this world. The spices. I mean, I'm not trying to diss on like European food because I'm going to mention European food because not as many spices, right? And after living in a place where there was majority minority population, I started realizing why so many people from like India and abroad kind of look at American food and they're like, "Oh, this is so bland." Because boy, like Indian food, that's some work of art culinarily, right? All the spices and everything. Uh, Sog. I'm not sure how to pronounce. I love Sog. Okay, very good. Okay. Uh, yeah, hell yeah, punk music. Damn right. Okay, I feel like Kyle was a little lower. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's a smaller creator and stuff. He also was one of the founders of the Justice Democrats, so he has done a lot of really good advocacy. Uh, I think we can do better than Hassan. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Okay, I'm a lot. So let me explain something to everyone. Okay, so a lot of people on the left online like to go after each other. Okay, for a variety of reasons. Does anyone here know TYT, the Unturks? The drama is never ending. I think it's counterproductive. That's why I am not fully kind of investing into going after these people because I think generally their messages are beneficial. Um, I can find things to critique on all of them, I'm sure. I'm sure I could find something to critique in myself. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's sort of time for the sniping amongst these different groups. Yeah, okay, yeah, real life cat DJ. I'm not gonna say what you said out loud, but yeah. I think Hassan sometimes says weird stuff about Hezbollah and yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. What's your max bench? I actually have weights. Actually worked out this morning. I don't have a bench though, so I couldn't really give you that. So my max, I could, I can figure it out. I might actually get I had a bench that I could lay on to do, presses and stuff, but then those, uh, that broke. So I don't know what my max bench is anymore. Let's just say 300 pounds. Let's just make up a number, make me feel better about it. Okay. Make you all think I'm massively ripped. Okay. Um, and that side note, your dad's cool. Oh, I know. He's a very cool guy. Very cool guy. The only MCR no is nah. Yeah. Okay. I like your dad. Yeah, I like your dad as well. Like his view is different enough just for both of you to be is just both of you repeat. Yeah, okay. The purpose of those folks, since you're all in my live stream right now, the purpose of those is sort of to build intergenerational connections. If you've been watching me here for the last few days that I've been doing live streams, you can probably guess that my views are a bit more left than what I portray in those reaction videos because they're mainly about building bridges and sort of coming to agreements about things. But yeah, so my dad is great. I love those live streams. We get lots of good feedback from it. A lot of older people like watching it too, which is part of one of the target audiences I'm going for. Listen to Welcome to the Yes, definitely listen to the Welcome to the Black Parade. Okay. By the way, I actually liked Marilyn Manson for a while. Of course, some things came out about him that kind of ruined that, but he has some songs that are very critical of the United States and some of the issues going on, politicians and stuff. I hate war, but it's very interesting to learn about. Big Braden, I totally get it. Yo-Yo Ma, what's your favorite Girl Scout cookie type? Oh, uh, I have two. I'm gonna have to do a tie. Thin Mints, because why not, right? That or lemon drops. I love lemon drops. I like things that are flavored like lemon. I don't know why. Maybe it's some of the Italian in me. I'm mainly German, but I have some Italian in me, and I'd like both of those. Who would you like to see as a 2028 candidate? Is Orhan Mondani? I don't think that'll happen. I wish it would. And I also think it'd be very difficult because he would be absolutely torn apart by the establishment. But if anyone could do it, I feel like he could. Uh, that is an issue, though. I don't know right now. I can't think of a good candidate that would stand out particularly well, except for him. But I might be biased because he's kind of new on the scene. He's kind of new on the national scene when it comes to coverage and such. Speaking of education, are you familiar with Chesko, the speech prof? He was my intro to modern feminist movement. No, I have not heard of that person. I will. I'm going to make a note actually. Let's see here. Okay, thank you. I will look it up. I would, by the way, classify myself as a feminist, just for the sake of informing you all. Okay. There's a great book by he's a man, but he's a feminist. He's a male feminist. Um, it's called Angry White Men. It was a really inspiring read for me because feminism is good for men too. Okay, for the men in the chat, there are a lot of things about how we do gender in this country that are bad for men too. Okay, the fact that men can't, it's hard for men to express emotions. Some men just live like some men might just get like one compliment a year. Okay, and you then kind of live off the compliments you've gotten, like the one compliment you've gotten to keep yourself going. Um, Men are the ones who are sent to die in war. There's some issues there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying women don't face stuff. Okay, they face a lot of stuff, if not more. Okay, I'm just saying the reason for those. That's why I think men should be feminist also. I mean, if you don't care about the women, then at least care about yourselves, right? It's good for everyone that we have feminist ideas. Um, let's see here. You should take the political compass test. I have actually. I am very far into the bottom left quadrant, kind of near Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. Uh, so, um, yeah, though yeah, yeah, he is. I totally forgot about that. That's a really good point, Long Beach Dragon. Mamdani was born in Uganda. I guess he couldn't be president. Darn it. I guess I should have thought that through a bit more. Yeah, I wish we had someone like that though. Really do. I think AOC would be a good candidate. Hey, she might be. I'm at the moment I'm kind of peeved with her for certain things that I think we mentioned. But if she would run, I think that'd be good. And I will say Bernie seems to be kind of, what's the term? That sounds like I'm talking I shouldn't say he's grooming her, but you know what I mean. Like it almost seems like he was preparing her to do that. Look at the whole country. The whole country just reacted to getting out of the mayoral primary. They act like he's going to rule the world tomorrow. I know. But see, to me, that's a sign, right? That uh, the reactions from both sides, the fear from his opponents, and the absolute love being showered on him, right? He's a left-wing populist, and that's what we need. We need someone who's going to implement reforms and things like that. I agree, but I'm feeling they won't be running a woman for a while. They might not. Uh, yeah, that's possible. Admittedly, though, and this is not. I don't think there's many good candidates right now at all, men or women. So it'd be hard pressed to find. I mean, there's candidates who would run, like Gavin Newsom. Ugh. I don't know, Beto O'Rourke maybe. Kamala may run again. I think she said recently she wouldn't. I hope not. Okay. Feminism all the way. Yep. Yep. I cannot handle another woman. Uh, I cannot handle another woman losing a presidential race. Hey, I get it. Hillary and see, I just did a bit of a sexism there. Okay, so a lot of times when we refer to female candidates, we use their first names, but when we refer to male candidates, we refer to their last names. It's a very interesting thing we do. So I should say Clinton, Hillary Clinton. I don't know if that's really sexism. It's just a bias or I forget what you would call it, but I took the test too and placed me center left libertarian, which I think is a fair ranking for me. Yeah, that's where I got left libertarian. By the way, left wing libertarianism. For those who think that means I, support there being no laws and everyone can just, there's can just be corporations can do whatever they want. Okay, it'll be like BioShock if anyone's played that game. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think AOC would be that's a fair point. Maybe I should take a step back here. I think AOC probably would be the best choice since Orhan can't really run. Yeah, but see, that's what bothers me is her recent voting record. Meh, at meh, 100%. Yeah. Do you believe children yearn for the mines? Oh, I mean, of course I do, right? I'm a good Republican. Literally, I mean, they passed laws that made it easier for children to do child labor. So yeah, I'm sure they do yearn for the mines. Right? Can you imagine there being a battle of Blair Mountain where it's a bunch of children going up that mountain instead with like, I don't know, rattles or whatever, trying to fight the coal company? Anyway, I know it's dark, but as a Californian, I will say Newsom needs to disappear into the ether. Thank you, Long Beach Dragon. I know a lot of Californians who feel the same way. The man is corrupt. Um, he's a standard run of the mill corpo dem with some other issues too. The people that pay for his campaign are very like big corporations, big energy corporations, things like that. He's completely beholden to them. Yeah, I have a feeling it will be Gavin. Let's say I think you're right. You can kind of guess who it will be when you look at who mainstream media sources are covering a lot and sort of building up. Okay, and they talk a lot about Gavin Newsom, which worries me. And it's a problem. Okay. The DNC always has our best interests in mind. Thank you, LSA. Yes, I'm sure they do, right? Oh, I love that. I think on the political yeah, okay, me too, Big Brain. We're about to live in the cyberpunk universe. Yeah. It was actually weird how cyberpunk was able to capture that sort of future dystopian corporate universe. Yeah. The term redneck comes from but you're right, Resident Union Thug. Yesterday, or was it yesterday, folks, where I did a live stream where I talked about the origin of the word redneck? Revolt did a deep dive on, yeah, thank you. On a real note, how do we get out of this? What can we even do to stop Trump from destroying us? That's a good question. Okay. We need a lot more public pushback, obviously. But I keep sticking to my same sort of thing here. The big thing we need are massive reforms. Now, how do we achieve those massive reforms? Well, we need more people in office, which is going to take a while because we need to wait until the midterms and stuff. In the meantime, people need to fight like hell. Okay, and I don't necessarily mean physically fight. I mean, I really like to see all the protests going on and stuff. Um, the government needs to know that it doesn't have us on a leash. And you can display that to a government by protesting. Maybe sometime on stream I'll share some videos. I go to quite a few protests. I would go protest at the Tesla here where I'm living. I've been to the No Kings protests and things like that. More people should show up to those. And here's the thing, though. This is how you get change by going to a protest. It is not necessarily the number of people that show up. It is how the police react to it. This sounds dark, but you want the police to overreact and beat some people up and get it caught on camera. I know that sounds horrible, but historically, for example, the civil rights movement, that was MLK's whole thing. They would march into towns that they knew the police would overreact, and they would make sure to get it caught on cam. And so then you get caught on cam this image of people peacefully protesting being beaten into a pulp, and that went out all over the United States and started changing people's mind. So it is better for the police to sort of overreact, and in order to get that to happen, you don't like push the police to overreact, but if you have enough protests, statistically, eventually they will. Do you see what I mean? So you just don't need to overreact. The protesters shouldn't overreact, but eventually police will overreact. I know that this is complicated. Yeah. Um, would you go to Jubilee if they invited you to debate? Yeah, I probably would. They won't, but if they invited me to debate, I probably would say. Was I a math teacher? I was not a math teacher. I'm sorry. I just really Yeah, actually, Alan, I'm sorry, I missed your message here. You said I would have liked Tim Walz being part of the campaign. Yeah, I agree. I'm actually a fan of Tim Walz. He's not perfect, but he is really down to earth, and he has very progressive policies that he enacted. Um, and he had really good ideas about how to bash the Republicans. Do we all remember when he said, he goes, they're just kind of weird? Yeah, that was just a great move. I think Tim Walz would be a great candidate. There's better, I mean, he might not be as far left as I would like, but I'm not. I just want someone who can win, essentially, that can start doing some reforms. Okay, at this point, I'm not going to ask for the moon. Um, a real note. How do we get out? Okay, I needs to be banned. AI needs to be banned. Hey, I'm a teacher. I might lose my job eventually because of AI. I understand that sentiment, and not to mention the danger with AI, which is real. It sounds sci-fi, but it's not. Okay. I feel like cyberpunk is subtly mocking libertarian Paul. I totally agree. There's a lot of really good games that do that, like BioShock, Cyberpunk. They sort of mock it. I was not a math teacher. Newsom has some good policy when it comes to law enforcement, but my issue with him is that he has no qualms about pressuring uncritical right-wing agitprop and move. Yeah, you're right, real life cat DJ. Bernie also said that there are ways around the Supreme Court ruling of Citizens United. How do we do that? Executive order? Yeah, well, uh, I don't know. The one way you could do it is just have individuals donate to your campaign. Have a non just have a completely grassroots funded campaign, which is what Bernie did, and he almost won. He's still the most popular politician in the country. So you can win if you do just grassroots funded, because those policies are so popular, it can help partially cancel out the money your other side has. The problem here is that the Democratic Party establishment would not, as we all know, kind of sniped him the last time. So we need major reforms in the Democratic Party. It's complicated, as I'm sure you all are starting to get the idea on. Let's see. There are ways. Free Palestine. Yep. As always. Yep. Would you go on Dublin? Oh, sorry. Okay. What are your thoughts on a general strike? Oh, my friends, we need a general strike. If there's anyone from India in the chat, you know that one of the things Gandhi did to get the British Empire out of India was basically a general strike, and millions of people just stopped working. And the British are just like, Okay, well, we'll go now because what are you going to do if everyone just stops working? You can't kill everyone. Well, I don't know. The British Empire might have tried, but anyway, but like there's a general strike is a fantastic idea, and I should have brought that up. I'm glad you mentioned that. We need actual labor actions. I have some issues with a lot of unions. A lot of unions have been in office, have had their positions for a long time, and they're not the unions they used to be. They are kind of in bed with the corpo dems. We need some actual real union action. We need people. We need actual strikes. We need to disrupt the economic system. A mass strike, a general strike would be fantastic. It would be hard to do, but I think that would really, if we just shut down the economy, what are they going to do? I mean, they can't. What are they going to do? Um, so yeah, that would be a great way to do it. Would have mass strikes, mass labor unrest, and if you want something that scares the elites, do mass labor unrest. Though there probably will be violence because a lot of times when that happens, the state uses violence. Um, okay. Anybody know my name? I haven't worked with someone. Me, I'm kind of confused why it's happening. Okay. I don't see your name. Unfortunately, the local protest movement in Utah has been kind of dismantled since there was a lethal shooting at one of the yeah, yeah. Um, he gave kids free lunch. Black Ops 2 is a good yeah, he did give yeah, you're right. Tim Walz did give kids, free lunch. He did a bunch of other really great things too. Yeah. I mean, and just to show you how evil okay, I that's kind of a loaded term, but how wicked the other side is, like, they were criticizing him that for the campaign. Yeah, "Oh, he's so bad, he fed children in a school." Okay. Hate it. Um, BioShock is basically like screw Ayn Rand. Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that notion. Oh, that sounds bad. I don't mean like actually I don't mean like assault her, okay? You know what I mean. I mean like, okay, yeah, I don't like Ayn Rand. Um, how many states need to vote to end the electoral system college for it to become national? I believe it would be three-fourths, three-fourths of the states. I get three-fourths and three-fifths mixed up because they're used a lot in different political things. Um, and there's actually an easier way to overturn the electoral college than doing a normal like a passing it through Congress. You can have each state hold a convention and pass it. And actually, there have already been multiple states that have done that. So if we can get more states on board, we can do it. We can circumvent Congress and do it. Um, of course, it's much harder to do in Republican states. Also, kind of an annoying part of this too is that small states don't really well, some small state governments don't wanna get rid of it because then they won't get as many representatives in Congress, or they won't have as much sway over elections, I should say, even though they kinda should because 'cause they're small. Uh, uh, and okay, how many states need to okay, uh, why are there no rules for the Supreme Court, or why are they not enforced? This is an issue with the Supreme Court. There's basically no way to, there aren't very many good checks and balances for it. The one thing you could do is that the Constitution does not set a limit on the number of people on the Supreme Court. So what you could do, a president could just start adding more and more people to the Supreme Court. Um, but you can see how that might start causing a problem because then any president could just add more and more people to the Supreme Court. And then all those people would have to be verified by Congress. Um, there are ethics rules in the Supreme Court, but there's no way to enforce those ethics rules. You could technically impeach a member of the Supreme Court, but right now the Republicans control the House and the Senate, so they would never do that. These are things that need reform. We all know how corrupt Clarence Thomas is and other judges on that panel on the Supreme Court right now. So that's one of the parts of the government that needs some major reform. Uh, okay, non-cooperation, yeah, we need that. We need civil disobedience. Have you seen that Sean Fain is trying to get a general strike? Yes, and I actually really like Sean Fain. Um, he's one of the stronger ones. Okay, Uh, yeah, there are some good labor leaders right now. You have to understand too, there are a lot of Trump people who are in unions. And that also puts pressure on unions when they try to push back against Trump. But yeah, Sean Fain, he's pretty badass. Hey, very well. If everyone wants to look him up, um, yeah, I agree. I think he should do a general strike for the automotive unions. Uh, how do we call for a general strike that most will listen to? Um, it has to be a grassroots organized thing, and the big unions in the country, like the AFL-CIO, okay, for example, need to get on board with it. And I don't think they are sort of willing to do that right now. Okay, for many reasons. Some of it has to do with corruption. Some of it has to do with they're very deeply tied to the Democratic Party. There's some issues with unions, with like the established unions. That over time they've been kind of degraded, and also the laws have made it really hard for unions to function effectively. Um, but if we could have a grassroots movement that could actually put pressure on the bigger unions, because if they can see that it can be successful, maybe it would change their minds. There actually is, maybe next time, folks, when we have another live stream, I will put in the chat. There's a link. There is actually a giant petition to start a general strike, and right now they're just collecting signatures of people who's saying they'd be willing to participate in it. Um, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. You would need something like you would need a few million people to engage in it for it to work. So I will put that in the chat at some maybe next time, and if you guys want to sign up, you can. And all it is trying to see if there are enough people to engage in it. Um, what's the party's political leanings? I hear about them in Irish. Oh, okay. See, I loved. Let's see here. Oh, Rick. I loved when he pointed that out on a news interview. I'm sorry, pointed what out on the news interview? Disregard and Rand. Yeah, that's a question for convention. Okay, national rational choice. Yeah, I actually agree. I'm sorry, national ranked choice. Yeah, ranked choice voting is great. Okay, I am all for ranked choice voting. We also need other reforms. We need a proportional representation system. We need to get rid of the two. We need more than two parties. Okay, because if I were a capitalist, I would say we need some competition, right? If you have just two parties, and they are your only two choices, they don't really have anyone to compete with, so they don't really have to change what they're doing much. Okay, we need more parties, but our system's currently set up where it makes it really hard to do that, because if you do make another party, historically, that will take away votes from one of those two big parties, which will almost always let the uh, one of those parties win then. Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree, Alan. Yeah. Ranked choice voting is not part of the particular political party, but he's a socialist or communist. I can't remember which. Do we mean Fain? I don't even know if he is a socialist. Are you referring to Sean Fain? How do you? I like ranked choice voting. I really do. I mean, it's just more democratic. You can it allows people more say. I'm all for more democracy. For it to be nationwide, doesn't the voter compact initiative, the EC still need to do voter compact? Yes, it does. It would need to be approved, uh, and I suspect that'll never happen, because especially the Republicans don't want that, and the Democrats, they don't want. They probably don't want that either, just because that would leave open the door for people who are like Zoran Mandani to get more votes, and the donors won't like that. That would be my guess. Don't quote me on that. Why the jester hat? Okay, meh. The jester hat. I've mentioned this in the last few streams. Okay, so historically, jesters were the only ones who were allowed to criticize kings. And so they would dress up in this silly outfit, and then when they were criticizing the king could kind of like brush it off as well, who cares what that fool is saying, okay? Which would allow the jester to get away with it and prevent the king from being embarrassed. So the jester was able to criticize the king, criticize people in power. We have some folks today that are basically modern day jesters. I just wish there was a resident one in the White House. Wouldn't that be nice if there actually was a jester right there who was like, "Oh, Mr. Trump, your hands are so small," or like whatever, was just sitting there, or being like, "Oh, what happened to the Epstein file?" That'd be really great. Um, but that's why I love jesters. I think they're a very cool concept. The number of SCOTUS seats have to be approved by Congress. Yeah, they do. But if you have, if you, I'm saying, but if your party controls Congress, you can basically do it, and then the president nominates. I think I switched up. You're right, which comes first, but then the president nominates who the members of the Supreme Court would be. Um, Okay, Big Braden. Oh Lord, Oh, by the way, I also teach American government. Now that you bring up the Supreme Court, and I just made a mistake about I switched up the presidency and Congress. You can see not always perfect, right? I also teach government, AP government, and government. Um, the number of SCOTUS has to be approved by Congress. Yes. Big Braden. Oh Lord, I just saw my name in my name. Okay, didn't join Oliver. Uh, do a whole. I could definitely do a whole episode on SCOTUS. Yeah, no, you're right. So resident unions, like you're right. AFL-CIO is a federation. Well, yeah, it's a federation of unions, but yeah, even the unions within them, I feel the AFL-CIO being one of the largest union federations could really help with a national strike. Okay, so but the leadership of the AFL-CIO have a lot of pressures on them. I'm not necessarily fully blaming them, but it'd be very hard for them to push for a national strike. Um, Thoughts on combined approval voting versus ranked choice? Um, I don't think I know enough about combined approval voting, though I think ranked. I know quite a bit about ranked choice. I will get back to you on that. I will look more into the other. I've never really thought about comparing them, but that's a good point. Local cops here have been harassing people for chalking First Amendment protected messages on public walkways. How do we ensure our rights are protected? Does someone have to get arrested? Well, I would love to hear more about that. Are these cops are they being charged with violating people's rights? Is the justice system doing what it needs to do, or are they being protected? I have a guess about what the answer is, but yeah, one thing you could do is people could sue the living daylights out of the city or the town, and eventually that'll work. Okay. I don't know if anyone know if you ever go on YouTube, there are people called First Amendment auditors, and they go out and they literally exercise their free speech, and they basically uh, you then can catch on camera if their rights are violated by the police, and then they'll end up suing the local government if their rights are violated. And it's actually useful because it has a cooling effect, because then all the local cops realize that, oh, I got to be more careful about the free speech stuff. So one thing you could do is get some activists there, some First Amendment auditors there to start filming. Okay, that would put a lot of pressure on the police department if they're being caught on camera violating rights and the city's getting sued. Uh, Now, if it becomes something that is an organized crime thing where it's being covered up and stuff, that would have to go to the federal government or the state government, mainly the federal government, to sort of fix. And God help you there. Um, Keep watching Mike Flood fumble. Hey, we're probably not going to watch more of him today. We've actually this is the longest live stream I've done, and I haven't been doing live streams for that long, but it's I think it's almost 3 hours now, or maybe even 3 hours. So we're probably going to not watch more of him today, but I'm going to keep reading through here. I mean, hell, yeah. I mean, Sean Fain, for some reason, I thought he was like really left wing. Yeah, I mean, he's a liberal. I don't think I'd call him a socialist. I mean, he's a labor guy, so he is a bit more left wing than most. Are you from Ohio? Yes, Matt Saiga, I am from Ohio. I am from Ohio. Uh, Speaking of gestures, have you heard of the idea of reflexive impotence and how gestures contributed to placating the people and not letting them revolt against the monarchy? Yeah, I have. To be honest, you kind of caught me there. I kind of avoid thinking about that part of it because sometimes it would be used as it would be sort of be presented as an excuse that, like, well, Uh, you know, uh, yeah, because the jester would kind of be almost like a PR machine in some way. Like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Um, Found you through your Jubilee reaction video. Very nice to see you, Matt Saigai. Obama just turned 64, and we've had back-to-back presidents in their 80s. LOL, random, but I just saw it was his birthday a couple days ago. Yeah, and it's an ongoing problem. Um, there's nothing wrong with having an older person in office per se. The issue is uh, the reason we have a lot of older people is, especially in Congress or presidents too, is partially because of corruption. Donors want to invest in the politician that has put out for them before. Using the phrase "put out" is kind of funny because it could have multiple meanings and they might all apply. But anyway, so they will tend to give money to the incumbent that has already been elected and already done the donor's will. So then they keep re-electing, they keep giving money to the same person over and over again until they're like, oh, what was her name? Fine. She basically had to be dragged out of Congress because she died while she was in Congress, and her staff was doing votes for her and stuff. Fine. Oh, I can't remember her name. She also was heavily implicated in the torture that we did during the war on terror. Thank you, Feinstein. Thank you. Yeah, like she was literally basically dying and her brain was deteriorating in front of the world, and they just kept her there. And they would literally sit next to her in committee meetings and basically tell her what to say and vote because they just didn't want to get rid of her. Partially because if they did, it would have been likely that a progressive would have gotten the seat. But it's pretty bad. And by like people like Biden, for example, who I don't know if you've ever seen the video of him shaking someone's hand who isn't there on stage. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys. Okay. John Oliver's. Yeah. John Oliver. I like a lot of John Oliver's stuff, I will tell you. Rank choice would allow third parties, and so many people don't for third party because it hurts the party they align with. Yeah. Lay Lane. Your question here, should I vote Green Party or Democrat? Green Party is better, but there are strategic considerations here. Because of the unfortunate nature of our two-party system, um, let me just say this: you should vote for the party you want to vote for. But a lot of times, if you vote for a third party that really doesn't have a chance of winning, um, it will end up benefiting the party that's much farther away from your position. And again, I do not want to tell anyone not to vote for the party they want. I'm just saying my point is I don't know the answer to that. I will leave that up to your judgment. God, I wish the Green Party. Now, admittedly, there are some issues with oh, what was her name? The lady who was running for the Green Party. There was some connections there that I wasn't a fan of. Some things she said, but I like the idea of a Green Party. Absolutely. We haven't even talked, by the way, about climate change. So that's another reason we're all going to die. That'll be fun. I tell people always film if the cops. Yeah, you're right. Do film. I tell it to my students. There is a great app. Oh, geez, my brain is dying today. There's an app that actually will allow you to film, and it'll send it to a lawyer if you feel your rights have been violated. I can look it up for you. I'll maybe in the next stream. Some of these First Amendment auditors really toe the line. They do. Okay, admittedly. And folks, a lot of these First Amendment auditors are just trying to make money by suing people. But it is true that in lots of cases, it puts a chilling effect on the local police department. Um, and a lot, yeah, sometimes there'll be First Amendment auditors who really don't know what they're doing, and they will make all kinds of mistakes. Uh, yeah. How old are you? I am 35. 35. I'm about what? Third of the way to death? Well, that's if I live that long, right? I am 35. Um, but I'm 25. Oh no, probably not. Okay. Uh, Jill Stein, thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was her. Jill Stein was kind of a grifter. I'm a fan of the Green Party. Like there some of the things they believe and stuff, but Jill Stein kind of not the best. Uh, Yeah, third exactly. You're right, Leah Lane. Yeah, third party voting doesn't really work unless you do have ranked choice voting, which is why I really support ranked choice voting because then it'd be easier to elect other parties that could put pressure on the main political parties to change their views. Yeah, so Keir Starmer, current UK politics, it's a mess over there, folks. Maybe one time I'll do a live stream on UK politics. I'm not trying to ignore you here, Matt Sci guy. I don't really want to go into it now. There's a lot of complicated issues there, and I think it'd be interesting to do a good live stream on it. Uh, yeah, English politics have become very fascinating. I mean, disturbing, but fascinating. I think maybe I'll do a live stream on it sometime. Yeah, Jill Stein. Okay, Jill Stein bugged me because she said that she wanted the Democrats to lose. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of and listen, I get the sentiment, right? It's not like I want the Democrats to win. I don't want it's not like you see what I'm saying, right? But I would rather them win than the fascist on the other side, right? I mean, duh. Okay, so but you know, I have I find myself I used to defend the Democrats all the time in terms of being like, no, I know we just need to vote for them. I have trouble doing that anymore because like, if they're not gonna give anything, then how can I defend them? But yeah, you're right. I mean, we do still it's still better to vote for them despite it's so painful for me to even say, let me tell you, despite everything. Um, yeah, oh, you're right. They are insane. Why did I live in MA? Went there with my wife years ago, never wanted to come back. The driver oh, yeah, oh, shut yeah, I am still kind of a crazy driver because I lived in Massachusetts, so I was in Massachusetts to get my PhD. I went to a university there. I was doing research, had a fellowship, so that's why I was in MA doing that research. I love Massachusetts. It's a great state. They actually have healthcare for basically everyone. Marijuana was legal there, one of the earliest states to do it. Great state, great food, great people, very diverse. There is a lot of wealth inequality, Boston especially, a lot of wealth inequality. I lived outside of Boston, but great state. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful too. Yeah, there are some weird connections, I believe, between Jill Stein and Russia. Yeah, that always concerned me. Yeah, and going back to shut the drivers in Massachusetts, folks. Take your blood pressure medication if you do go, okay, and you have to drive to downtown Boston. Right? Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sorry, Matt Sci guy. I know things are rough over there. Obviously, us in America can't really say much, right? Because not going great here either. I've been able to vote in 2 elections, and both of them have been the lesser of 2 evils. That's not good way to motivate thank you, Alan. This is my issue, right? This is why I keep saying the Democrats need to push forward a reform agenda that has a hopeful vision of the future. We are the wealthiest country in human history. We can easily afford for everyone to live well and not be starving to death or not have health care, okay? The Democrats just refuse to do that. They just seem constitutionally incapable of offering a positive vision of the future. Think about it. Trump is offering his voters a positive vision of the future, whether it's right or wrong, right? Let's make America great again. Let's create a better society. And then you got the Democrats over here being like, let's just kind of, let's just kind of mess around the edges and stuff. Not exactly inspiring politically. Okay. And I think that's why the progressives have been doing well in some elections is because some of them have, and Zorhan Mondani, very much presenting a positive vision of the future. Okay. We need to present a positive vision of the future that inspires people and gets them to actually go vote and makes them want to go vote as opposed to just going to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. Again, though, this is a contradiction because that being said, you still should vote for the lesser of 2 evils. Okay. Um, Who would win in a VR fight, Tom Osborne or Dan? I honestly, I don't know, Macy. I don't know. I don't know. How frequently do you stream? Well, the last few days I've been doing it once a day. I've been trying to do it at least once a day. I'm actually going to be going on vacation here, starting on Friday. I can't remember Friday for just a few days. I won't be gone long. I wanted to get a few streams in before then. I might actually still go live though while I'm on vacation. I'll just use my cell phone and kind of go live. I'm gonna be going up into Michigan. There's gonna be some historic sites I'm gonna be stopping at because I'm a nerd, and I might actually live stream from those and just talk about them a bit. Healthcare, food, education for all. Yeah, yeah. Tough to move with a boot on your throat. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's the big issue we're having. Okay. All right, folks. I believe that's all the chats for now. Let me do my last little bit here. Remember, what am I going to say? I'm going to say resist, keep resisting, do the best you can. The best way to do that is to think for yourself. That includes when you listen to me. I get things wrong. We've even noticed right today. I made a comment about the president appointing judges and stuff. I can make mistakes. Always think for yourselves. Again, I repeat it again. That includes when listening to me. We need a positive vision for the future. The way to combat fascism is to do that. It's not to stick in the center. And lastly, do not forget Chainbreaker back there, because the good things we do have, massive sacrifices were made for them. Okay, and we cannot afford to give those up. And that is part of the American spirit. I'm not necessarily a bleeding heart patriot, but that is something I do believe in. Okay, so keep up the good fight, folks. I'll see you all in the next stream. Okay, bye bye.